Karen Reed and her attorneys just filed what potentially is the most repugnant and vile civil complaint that I've ever seen. And we are about to get into all of it here on Defense Diaries. Welcome to Defense Diaries. I'm your host, Bob Motta. Thanks for being here because some pretty explosive stuff hit the wires this morning. First thing I woke up, Ali came up, actually woke me up.
Thankfully, Tracy sent it to us. And I did. I woke him up and I'm like, we got to go live.
Yeah.
And then I spent so much time working on the thumbnail that we're coming late. And I'm like, oh, Melanie's live. She's already done her live. Let's see if we can get a cupcake invasion. So we'll see.
Yeah. We had an invasion of 800 and then they left because we weren't live. So what other feed? The other feed has 9. Didn't you?
What?
You didn't cancel the other feed, babe?
Uh-oh. I don't know. Did I not?
Uh-oh. Well, if you're new to our channel, welcome.
The other feed, maybe it didn't delete off of YouTube. Can somebody go in there and tell everybody to come over here? Because I don't see it in StreamYard, but maybe it's on YouTube.
Yeah, so the tech wizardry thing you see down there on our little whatever they call the thing, the overlay, that's what we're talking about.
Well, no, here's the thing. Like, once we realized, like, I had been working on it, and then Bob kept telling me, just post it the way you have it. And then we realized that Melanie was about to end, and we were like, holy shit, I guess we should just post it. So I posted it, but would not allow me to upload a thumbnail. So then I kept working on it, and then I deleted it, and it did it. So on my end, it looks like it was deleted, but maybe it wasn't from YouTube. But here's the thing. This is so much worse. If those of you who don't know, and hopefully most of you don't, because I hate to just be giving you the same thing you already heard, but this is so much worse than we could have possibly imagined. Like, I don't even know how Mel got through the whole complaint that quick.
I told you she didn't go through the whole complaint, Bubs.
Oh.
She went through like 25 pages. It's like she's going to do like the meat and potatoes of the counts, I think, on a different level.
I mean, what we've seen, and it hasn't been much of it, so a lot of our responses will be live with you guys. Just fucking mind-blowing. What is the most mind-blowing is that they have had this information for so long, however long, that they all got released, that they got access to Michael Proctor's text messages. But guess who's still working as law enforcement? Sean fucking Goode. Like,
well, he retired.
You mean today? So
like 2 days ago.
Into the complaint. Let's just get into this. I asked Tracy to send me some stuff. So
there are 800 plus waiting on the other live.
Is there someone that can go tell them that we don't know how to access that live?
Like, what, dude? What? Like, how can there be 2 lives at one time?
It's not in StreamYard.
Oh yeah, here. There's 504. Okay, I'm going in here.
Tech wizardry. I mean, it's crazy. I don't understand it. So
I do.
Short article, so I'm not even gonna put it up. I'm just gonna read it. So this was from yesterday. All right. The article says Canton police sergeant linked to Karen Reed murder case resigns. Oh, really? I wonder why. And the article says Canton, Mass, a Canton Police Department sergeant with ties to the Karen Reed murder case has resigned. In a statement shared with Boston 25 News on Wednesday, and I think she might have sent us this as well, so I'll grab that. The town of Canton announced that Sergeant Sean Goode submitted his resignation from the Canton Police Department effective June 2nd. Goode was among the officers who responded to the scene where John O'Keefe, the Boston police officer and boyfriend of Karen Reed, was found dead outside his home in Fairview. What is this? What is this? Let's just see what else she sent me, because where is Canton like saying something? All right, here it is. I'll share this. Open with preview. Maybe I'm just gonna put it. Hold on, file.
Yeah, I think all the cupcakes went to that other thing that's not a thing, because there's like 600 in chat over there.
Jesus. So are they coming now? Did they hear it?
I
Did they
think
see
they're
it?
making their way over. I'm gonna delete that live on YouTube because it wasn't even, like you said, it didn't even show up in
On
our
StreamYard.
on StreamYard. So it's
Right.
not, I don't know, like it's not streaming anything. The chat's just live. That's the only thing that's going on over there. Yeah. So look, like
me
trying to get through this thing today without
No, we're gonna hit the highlights. That's what we're gonna do. But I
that's
just
not what I was saying. If you just
Oh,
let me
sorry.
finish my sentence. Like the amount of hate speech that's contained within the complaint itself is going to make it really tough for us to read it clean in terms of being able to say what's actually said. So obviously we're going to have to use a lot of code words because YouTube and its bots will stop the stream, which I hate doing, frankly. You know, obviously I'm not on here saying the N-word ever.
We would
But
never.
the
I
fact
know.
of the matter is that I want the full impact of exactly what this is to be felt. I feel like we're unfortunately going to have our legs cut off from us to a certain extent because the words matter. The things that these two scumbags were texting one another matter. And we're going to get into all of it, but just as a forewarning, you know, it's shocking. Like if you didn't hear Mel's live and you're just about to hear it for the first time, prepare yourselves. It's shocking. It's shocking to the
So much worse than we thought.
It's exactly what we thought.
I guess.
It's exactly what I thought. That shit, I said it in my old lives. I called it with the planting the evidence. I said if you had any doubt that Michael Proctor was the type of guy that would plant evidence, all doubt has been erased. Now it's been confirmed. If you're new to our channel, we are both defense attorneys. We have been dealing with the government and the police for decades in courts of law. And for the most part, anytime that we would challenge the police in a courtroom, we'd get the riot act read from us by the judge because that's how protected. And we're in Illinois. We're not in Massachusetts. Again, this isn't a Massachusetts only problem. This is a nationwide problem. And the thing before I start jumping into this complaint with y'all, this is not an indictment on all cops. I need to be clear about that. There are amazing men and women that do that incredibly hard, dangerous job who we need desperately in our society. We need them. The problem is, as I always say, when you have that much power, and if you have little understanding of how much power that badge and gun gives somebody, just dive into true crime. You'll quickly understand. Just start looking at some wrongful convictions. Just looking at the things that people have said about law enforcement and how they've been treated by them forever. These are the kinds of complaints. These are the kind of transparency events that we need in order to be able to truly shine a light on it so that people can see that it's just not people talking shit, that it's real, that it lives, it breathes. And if you think that Michael Proctor, the shitbag, as a human, is not the same Michael Proctor that's wearing that gun on his hip and that badge on his chest, or was, then you're living in a fantasy world. There's no separating those two individuals. They are the same person. And who he is bleeds into how he does his job. And you need to understand that a cop that's a shithead with all that power can change your life in the blink of an eye. The blink of an eye.
And Karen Reed's doing a huge service to all of the other people, like especially people of color, but even and women as well. But I mean, she is exposing everything they have. Like, can you fucking imagine the people that these officers and Goode and Proctor are just a representation of the whole of Mass State Police, the whole of Canton, and as far as I guess not the whole, but a sick portion. It's not just them. You can't think it's just them, right? Like Bob was just saying. And this opens up doors not only for the people who are in this sort of in it right now, all the cases that we're seeing. Um, what's the one that King and the other ones that kind of got this ball started, but other people who have made these types of claims. But here's the thing, all right? Here's the sick thing of it. Let's say you've got a defendant who has either at trial or in their post-conviction stuff made these allegations that these officers planted evidence on me and these officers were lying and they did, but he didn't have any proof. And now he's got all this proof. Well, the law says you raised those issues before. New evidence on issues that you raised before doesn't allow you to re-raise issue that you already raised, and you are blocked. They had to start an entire create like a whole new structure for people, and they really only did it for people who were physically abused into confessing in Chicago. But otherwise, the law says, you've already raised this issue. You've already made this argument. You're like, no, yeah, but I made it and no one believed it. I made it and I had nothing to support anything that I was saying, that these officers have this way of thinking, have this way of doing things, have a history of doing these things. So this could still be a roadblock to people who have been convicted, especially people who have been screaming from the rooftops, these cops framed me. These cops lied, because they as much as say so. They talk about planting evidence. It is outrageous. And Massachusetts and every other state in the United States needs to change the appeal post-conviction laws to allow people to come in with this evidence when it becomes available, even if they raise these issues before, because this is unimaginable what is going on here. And yeah, like Bob said, us as defense attorneys, we know this is out there. We've always known. And I think the masses think maybe there's some of it, but you turn a blind eye when the people that don't maybe look like you or are poor or are criminals. Okay, because framing criminals is the easiest way to frame somebody when you need to close a case. That's not what happened here, thankfully, because the only other people to say, hey, maybe these guys did it are the House defendants, or were the House defendants. But Karen Reed is literally doing a service to so many already wrongfully convicted people, whether they're criminals who've committed other crimes, but not the ones they're charged with. This is just outrageous. So I just want to get to this first. This is what Canton had to say, I guess, about Goode. A police sergeant.
Good. It's just good.
Sorry, that E gets me. A police sergeant in Canton, Massachusetts, has resigned amid an ongoing internal affairs investigation into his alleged misconduct. Now, can somebody just tell me? I know I had up a second ago, like his suspension in October of 2025. Does anyone in the chat know? Has he been on suspension since this time, or he got off suspension at some point? Because this has taken a little too long. How long does an internal affairs investigation need to take when they have had these text messages in their possession for months? For months. It takes about 2 seconds to read this and be like, holy shit, we need to take action. We need to fire him. We need to investigate. We need to find out who else what other officers are involved in this kind of thinking and open display of I'll say allegedly corruption because, but I haven't read this thing, but there's stuff in here. But anyway, they say the town of Canton confirmed Wednesday that Sean Goode submitted his resignation from Canton Police Department effective June 2nd. His resignation does not alter the completion of the investigation, the town added. Those results will be submitted to the town and the peace officer standards and training commission. And here's their quote. While we understand the public interest in such matters, Massachusetts personnel and privacy laws limit what may be publicly shared regarding employment matters. The town stated in a statement noting they will have no further comment. Really, when is the time to say something big and to say we're not going to stand for it? We see there's corruption in our government. There's corruption in our police force. We need to investigate the entire police force. You know what they need to do?
Who's we?
The town of Canton.
Oh, dude, you're missing the bigger point.
Yeah.
This isn't two dudes. This is institutional.
That's what I was about to get to.
Systemic. This is people that are getting this much power with the guns and badges. The vetting process has to change. We cannot allow for people to get these jobs that are fucking monsters. And it's that thing where unless it affects you, people don't want to believe that it's true. Unless it affects you personally. If I lived in Canton or anywhere in that area, that the Massachusetts State Police, because we're not just talking about Canton, we're talking about MSP here, which is far more terrifying because they deal with the entire Commonwealth. And to have these guys in that department walking around out on the street, interacting with human beings where, again, in the blink of an eye, they will ruin your life if they so feel. All it takes is a cop to say, yeah, he grabbed my wrist. That's ag bad on a cop. It's that simple. Oh, yeah, I didn't have my body-worn cam on, but, trust me, bro, I'm a cop. That shit's over. I am so grateful in my tweet today, which is a pretty epic tweet. You should check it out if you're on Twitter. This is both a terrible and great day. It's both of those things. It's a terrible day because of the allegations that are contained in that, and we now know it's a reality. It's a great day because it's been made transparent. The secret is out. All of the, because you're talking about heads of snakes here. This kind of shit does not live in a department and the head of the snake knows about it. Or
know about it.
There's no way that they don't know about it. So, all right, I'm trying to email this thing to myself and like I'm not having much luck with it.
Want me to send it to you?
Oh no, it finally came through.
Okay. So, and what I was gonna say, like when I was going at that the Canton needed to say, our eyes are wide open. We have to look at all the alleged corruption. There was so much obvious corruption in the Karen Reed case. Just think about the missing video and the inverted video alone. Just look at that alone. Who the hell is investigating whether or not the statements that Lally made the first time around, unless that was made after by what's his name, but I'm pretty sure the first time. No. Maybe it wasn't Lally. Well, whoever that was inverted for a long time. Bob and I have been saying this since they said that. Who the fuck is investigating? I want to see another case where the video was inverted, that was used submitted somewhere. that actually shows some sort of internal documents, a repair request, whatever it was, to prove that Sally Port camera was inverting every video. If they did, all right, I'll shut up. You know, if they could prove that, at least on that point, I'll shut up. I mean, but you've got 3 things just on the video alone. You have all of it missing. Okay. You have the first time they do it, they're not giving the whole video. You have the inversion, and then you have those guys hovering around the fucking tailpipe. Where this is just an outrage to me that Canton is still not just saying, you know, oh, they're hiding behind some privacy laws. They can still say we're outraged by what we have come to know without without violating any rules. You know, like, and they could make it like you just said, department wide. You know, what we have learned has
liability, babe. They're worried about getting their asses sued. Like it's always about money.
All out there now.
They don't give a shit about what's right. Well, right. I mean,
so, but my point is, they should be saying, we have decided we need to look into the entirety of Canton, because I'm saying this because it's Canton talking in this thing. Or was Sean Goode Canton? Not, well, whatever. So Canton, and we're going to give all of our officers a personality test. I mean, you think about when I was a teenager and would go to apply for a store for like a retail position. Some of them would have you take these personality tests where, like, they're asking you all these questions. They think they're going to figure out where your morals lie, if you're going to steal. So I'm certain someone could design a test that's not so obvious, that can target the hidden bias, the racism, everything, and it could be those tests that we've seen like online where they see how quickly you look at a picture and you got to press the good and the bad. I don't know, something, because you cannot.
Not a personality test. It's a psychological examination. Like I'm not going to keep saying the same thing over, but the power that cops have in this country is unbelievable. You cannot just give these gigs to anybody. It can't be a cursory little thing that you're talking about. They have to be they have to be vetted like the feds vet their people. Like the amount of vetting that goes into, when my dad was trying to get a job as an attorney for the FAA, the vetting process for that was insane. They were talking to people that he hadn't spoken to in 20 years. The background on that was just like no other. And frankly, when you have that much power, it's what's required. We just can't allow for people that can change the course of other people's lives on a whim to be given guns and badges because they went through some police academy for 6 months, but suck as a human being. Like that's not the answer. It's never been the answer. And it's not until now. And like Ali was saying, and like Mel was saying earlier, Karen Reed is the impetus for that. We don't get access to this kind of shit. We never get access to cops' private messages to see who they really are. That's all backroom shit. This is the first time that I can ever remember that we've had access to see who we're really dealing with here in terms of police officers. And it should, number one, infuriate you as the taxpayer who pays their salaries. And number two, it should terrify you.
Let's see what the NBC Boston had to say after.
I doubt it's better than what we're going to say.
No, it's definitely not. They don't even know anything. This is just about Canton, so.
Canton Police Department, who testified in her first murder trial, has resigned. NBC 10's Colton Bradford joins us from the Live Center with an update on this.
Yet another twist, Glenn. We're talking about now former Canton Police Sergeant Sean Goode. The town announced earlier today that he's resigned. Now, Goode had been on leave due to misconduct allegations. He was one of the Canton officers who responded to 34 Fairview Road when Reed's boyfriend Boston police officer John O'Keefe was found in the snow again back in 2022. In a statement, the town says of Goode, quote, his resignation was submitted during the pendency of ongoing internal affairs investigation by an outside investigator. His resignation does not alter the completion of this investigation, which will be submitted to the town and the Peace Officer Standards and Training Commission. But this is, again, just the latest fallout for law enforcement officers that are connected to the Reed case. Take a look at this here, right? The lead investigator, State Trooper Michael Proctor, was fired for his misconduct. Then you have two of his supervisors, Sergeant Yuri Buchanan and Detective Brian Tully. They both lost vacation days, and they were later moved out of the Norfolk DA's office. Tully has since retired. Meantime, one of Reed's civil cases returned to court today. Karen Reed is facing a wrongful death lawsuit filed by John O'Keefe's family. Today's virtual hearing, it focused on the scheduling of depositions. The judge scolded lawyers on both sides for only holding 3 so far. Reed faced a number of charges in connection with O'Keefe's death, including second-degree murder, but at her 2025 retrial, she was acquitted of the most serious charges. Reed has filed her own lawsuit alleging witnesses and investigators like Proctor conspired to frame her. In the live center for you tonight, I'm Colton Bradford. JC, Glenn, I'll send it back to you.
So I don't know. Let's get into this complaint. Let's see if any of you guys are saying any questions to.
Yeah, like I keep seeing this comment that Turtle Boy was right. He was, but you know who was right way before Turtle Boy?
I'm just going to say, because we don't want to get sued when we say Turtle Boy was right about corruption concerns and investigative issues, and that these were the type of disgusting, law enforcement officers.
I assume that's what the comments referring to.
I know. I'm just
bring it. Sue us. Bring it. Sue us. I'm not worried about that. So, but who was right long before Turtle Boy were the Rosemary Scapiccios, the Bob and Ali Mottas, every defense attorney that has stood in courtrooms across this country saying that the cops are dirty. The cops are dirty. And the judges patting us on the head or kicking us in the ass, either one, depending on the judge, telling us, shut up.
Right.
Move on. This cop's been testifying in my courtroom for 15 years. He's a good man. That's who's been right. And this is validation for every defense attorney out there that has been fighting this fight forever. Because this is obviously the tip of the iceberg. And as I keep saying, it's not just mass. It's not. It's really, really not. And I apologize for whatever reason. My mic keeps going up to like 150. So when I start, I'm blowing people's ears. I've turned it way down. I'm sure it's much more reasonable. So when I was yelling, I wasn't yelling as loud as you probably thought I was. So, all right, let's dig into it.
But I just wanted to say to Where's the Lucky One's point, what Turtle Boy did do and what Karen Reed is what they're all still doing is bringing this to the masses so that people can see it. And as much as, Bob wants to get excited that like this helps all defense attorneys, like I said, the extent of the corruption in Chicago alone that has been outright in everyone's faces. Everyone knows it. The judges have known it. They've known it for years. They've created special, departments of courts to deal with this. New laws still has not changed the way the amount of weight a judge puts on a cop's testimony, period. There have been state's attorneys, assistant state's attorneys who have been directly implicated in, knowing and assisting police and presenting cases. They know the police have used framed evidence, lying witnesses. All that has come out. Judges know it exists. It's not changing a fucking thing. But the more it's happening and being in the public, and the more the public is screaming about it, the more the elected state's attorneys will be understanding it, the more the elected judges will be understanding it, and they're going to have to change. They can't just put on like a blinder, or I don't know what you want to call it, and be like, I know on this side of my brain that it happens, but I'm going to still do all the same shit that I've always done, period. So when Turtle Boy brings this out and you're looking at a, you know, uh, professional white woman that the police are doing this to, it ensnares a whole new, like, part of the public to say, "Holy shit, I guess all these stories we've heard aren't wrong." So, you know, so yeah. And to that hearing that was just up there at the end of the thing, it was a complete, you know, it was such a shit show. All the lawyers saying how many people are canceling their depositions, and all the House defendants said they were busy the day before their deposition or whatever. Everyone's trying to avoid everything. Like, shit's coming to roost. And, I mean, I guess thankfully Karen Reed's been able to raise additional funding, because I was thinking about it today. This is exorbitant. Like,
Oh yeah.
I mean, if the public wasn't helping, I don't know how she'd do it unless all the lawyers were all going to work for free, which this is way too involved to work for. It'd kill their practices, you know. And I don't
Oh
know, maybe
God.
some of them are working for free, but
I
it's
mean, I doubt it. Like, these are just way too involved in terms of litigation. And they've got multiple cases going, and they're defending cases. So they're doing both sides of it. They're plaintiffs in some, they're defendants in other. Like Karen, she's in it. She's in it for the fight. Like, she's not going anywhere.
is Colin a named? He is a named defendant, or he's not? Because how can you just join the army and disappear when you've got like a case pending? Like,
Well, it's not a criminal case.
no, but is he in the midst of a is he one of the named? I can't remember if he's one of the named.
I think he's named. I've seen him sitting there. You're talking about in the civil. What would stop him if he's sued civilly from joining the military?
I mean, if that was a way to just avoid, he is a named plaintiff. That's just a way you would think that they'd be like, all right, well, you got to
Named defendant.
resolve your shit before you disappear. And
Wait, what are you talking about? This, like, in a criminal case?
well, yeah,
You're-
but I'm
you're-
saying in a civil case as well. If you have a civil lawsuit pending and then you just disappear,
What lawyers?
well, eventually the
That'd take
defendant needs to be
years.
available. All right, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think that's as, like, whatever. The bigger question is,
I'd be interested to know how long he was contemplating this military thing for.
yeah, that's like, I don't want to get caught up at.
All
I
right,
want today to be about
got it.
institutionalized bigotry, racism, sexism, misogyny. That's what, like, we haven't been covering the defamation stuff,
As much,
which
right?
Ali is like, we really need to. But as soon as this is where we live, Ali and I live. This is what matters to me on a scale that affects all of us on a daily basis. Like, this kind of the uncovering that's taking place right now, the curtain being drawn back, and us having finally a peek into what's going on, because the fallout from this is going to be epic. Epic. Because now, just think about what happened when somebody finally videotaped a guy on a street in California getting the absolute shit beat out of him. And that guy's name was Rodney King. And it changed everything. Like, the
And
cell
changed nothing at
phone-
the same time.
and changed, right. I mean, like, look, you're never going to be able to get rid of, like, racism is taught. You're not born out of the womb a racist.
But why has the system done nothing to address it? Why do judges just believe every word a cop says because they're a cop, despite seeing with their own eyes what can happen?
It's generational, babe. Like, this isn't a mystery. Like, the boomers that are on the bench, their parents, I mean, again, it's a thing where, as the older generation moves off the bench and we get younger and younger judges up on the bench, I mean, it's never going to go away, but it's going to change. I mean, just in terms of, humanity. Like, this is all just about humanity. Well, to broadly hate anybody because of their one thing or another is fucking absurd. If you dislike people individually because you know them to suck, that's a different thing. To broadly detest anybody because they're a certain thing is absurd. And it's not founded in reality. And, this thing is important to me because, when you sit there and look at the context in which Rosemary stood in that courtroom that day, and she was able to really, and the judge kept trying to shut her down, like, yeah, I get it.
Right.
I don't know how much she had or hadn't read.
It
At
sounds
that
like she had
point,
it all.
but Rosemary's in the shit. Like, she's in the trenches. She's been fighting these sons of bitches forever. Long before Karen Reed was a case. Go watch Trial 4 with Sean Ellis and his story. And that's the Boston PD. It's like this isn't new. It's just been freshly exposed. All right, so let's get into it. I could rant forever.
Me too. This is, and it's like, I know Bob's like, but we knew there'd be shit like this, but it's still, when you see it with your eyes, it's just so outrageous.
To see it like actually uncovered is the thing. To see it out there uncovered is the power in it. I mean, it's, think of all the hundreds of years that have passed where exposing this wasn't even a possibility, because text messaging didn't exist in the world, because hold on.
I mean, this might open the door to get Goode's and maybe some other people's text message history.
Well, here's what the bigger
too late.
question becomes, like, in terms of precedent moving forward legally. All right, hold on.
Well, and I'm going to say this while he's got us on hold. Just think about how, geez, what's his name? Got perimenopause brain, who broke up his phone, and Higgins. I mean, breaking that shit up, dumping it on a military base. If you're on the jury and you've got text messages like these coming at you, I mean, if you're the lawyer, you can use the fact that, look at these text messages and use your own reasoning. What would possess a man to go on a military base, break up his phone, and throw the pieces away in different places? And I really hope that in this lawsuit, in this one against Massachusetts State Police in the town of Canton, that they get into that Sallyport video and all the digital evidence about the backup, and if the video was there or wasn't there, and where the hell the video went from the house, who accessed it. They've got to get into these computers. They've got to. And especially that damn Sallyport video. Just prove that thing was reversed before.
Yeah, that's like Will in the shoe, you in the Sallyport.
I'm just saying, it's the most obvious, and maybe, like I said, maybe they can prove it. And it's like, okay, well, that one's gone.
It seems super easy. Like you talked about it when we were covering Karen's second trial, and the first one for that matter. Just, if Hank Brennan's going to go out there and make assertions that this has been doing this for a long time, well, then show us one other case wherein you tendered evidence wherein the Sallyport video was inverted.
Right. Not just going back to an old video that never went to anyone, inverting it and saying, hey, look, this one's inverted too. No. One that you tendered to the other side or to the court that you can show already existed like that before this. But yeah.
100%.
All right. So we're going to read like,
we'll read until we get tired. I'm not going to cap it. You're too big at capping things.
Well, I just want to get to like the.
All right. So here's what I want to talk about. How are we going to like code word shit so that YouTube doesn't shut the live down?
I mean,
this is some vile shit. Like the bot's going to be like, oh, hate speech, and like shut it down. It's.
And I wish we weren't even showing. They don't write the N word out in here, do they?
I don't. I mean,
I would hope not.
I would hope not. Yeah, they do.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, for all of its big ugly, and that's exactly what I was saying. I hate that we're
No,
cut off by YouTube to be able to
no, I would
read
never.
what it-
I would n-
obviously, but I'm talking about in general. Like, I
Right.
don't want to, but the words matter. The weight of what they're saying matters. Like when you type some shit and you text it, have you ever been there? Like, and obviously not like this kind of shit, but just anything. We were like, wow, like, I don't know if I should send this text. Like, these dudes were not thinking that when they're firing this shit off.
And that's
This
how you
is,
know how wide it's just second nature.
this is who they are. Fundamentally, who they are as human beings. All right, so you read first.
Okay. The not guilty verdict in Commonwealth versus Karen Reed on June 18th, 2025 did not merely end a wrongful prosecution. It shone an unflinching spotlight on something that the Massachusetts State Police and the town of Canton have spent years trying to conceal. An embedded culture of bigotry, misogyny, systemic failures, and institutional rot at the very core of both organizations. As a result of this entrenchment, Ms. Reed now files this action against MSP and CPD for their negligent hiring, training, I should say retention, but whatever, and supervision of biased and corrupt police officers whose actions violated her constitutional rights and caused her immense harm. At the heart of Miss Reed's claim lies a distressing narrative, one not just about individual rights, but about fundamental principles upon which our society is built. Through this action, the MSP and the CPD will now be forced to answer for their police officers' unlawful conduct against Miss Reed that is set forth in detail below, but also for the insidious culture of bigotry and misogyny that fostered such unlawful conduct. So let me just pause there. I don't think the court's going to look kindly on, you can't take this to the whole of the society, although the point hits home for all of us. But for the purposes of this claim, that last sentence is of utmost importance because a lot of this is going to have things that don't affect the way they would treat Karen Reed based on what she looks like. Obviously, all the women stuff does, but it just shows that they allowed this insidious culture and it fostered such unlawful conduct that we've seen here because it all went on no accountability and allowed to happen. And when you allow that kind of disgusting shit to foster, that you end up with people who are willing to do what they did to Karen Reed. So that's kind of how I think all of these messages come into play with just that one sentence, and they probably flesh it out. But as far as now they have to answer to everybody for everything, that's very true, especially in criminal cases, but not something the court's going to be like, all right, well, that's, just words here for this purposes. But it fostered, that's what it did. Fostered such unlawful conduct and has likely resulted in other unconstitutional criminal investigations in which countless unknown others have also suffered. Indeed, the MSP and the CPD, that's Canton Police Department, have avoided facing this very moment for years. But it's now time for the long-awaited transparency and accountability owed to the citizens of this Commonwealth. Former MSP Detective Michael Proctor and former, as of 2 days ago, they updated this complaint, CPD Sergeant Sean Goode are virulent. Virulent? What's
Yeah.
virulent? I haven't used that word. Like just massive? Virulent bigots whose hatred for anyone and everyone different from themselves permeates their every action. Yes, yes. They are not officers who occasionally voiced an offensive remark. They are men whose written and recorded communication sent to one another and to a circle of like-minded friends over the course of a decade establish entrenched and unrepentant hatred for women, Black Americans, Asian Americans, Jews, Hispanics, Arabs, and gay people. Their unfitness for any position of public trust was not subtle. It was extensively documented and, as set forth below, knowable. So that's the key word there, knowable, to MSP and CPD long before either agency assigned them to investigate and prosecute Miss Reed. Proctor's and Goode's involvement at the outset of this investigation, into the death of John J. O'Keefe III, invariably and irredeemably contaminated it in every respect.
Equal opportunity haters.
Yeah.
They hate everybody that's not like them. It's simple.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
white
who they are.
men.
There is, and again, I'm going to say it in terms of you cannot separate the human being from the job. Just can't. Not
Not
that
in
job.
this. No, not unless you're bagging groceries.
Not that job.
Not this job. No. Wow. Okay. So, as depicted in thousands of written and audio messages of the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office has thus far hidden from public view and far from the quote inclusive values that both organizations publicly claim to pursue, Proctor and Goode secretly and proudly wore badges of hate. Go to footnote 1.
It's down there.
I can't see it because you got a sticker up. Take that down.
Yes,
Multiple copies of a thumb drive containing a selection of audio recordings referenced herein are attached as Exhibit 1. Hey, lawyers, I'm going to just tell you something. You could have attached them as links to this document, and then we all could have heard them.
We all could have heard them because believe me, we all would have been playing them.
You need more millennials on your team.
More millennials, more Gen Zers.
More Gen Zers, whatever. But it's more than doable. Okay, so going back after the footnote. Okay. Indeed, bigotry guided their every act as law enforcement officers for years, but such conduct remained disguised by the uniforms they wore and obscured by the support and encouragement they received inside the walls of the very institutions designed to prevent such injuries and protect the public. For MSP and CPD who hired, trained, supervised, observed, these two for... Next page.
Oh, sorry. I never know if you're reading mine or if you have your own up.
I could put it up, but I'm reading
No,
yours.
it's fine.
Years, Proctor and Goode's hateful and despicable views were not only part of their daily vernacular, but were woven through the fabric of their organization's culture and everyday conversations. So, and here's some quotes. After telling Goode about a multi-car accident in Canton, Proctor texts, actually, take your time. I saw an N-word was involved. So I wouldn't rush if you're working. Let them, can I say die? I mean, putting those two things in the same sentence sounds outrageous. Like
every single
flagging
one of
something
these is, you know what I mean? It is what it is. It's like we're reading it. We're gonna, you know,
and then Proctor responds, or a different time probably. My new VP is a giant malignant C word. I pray to the heavens that some fucked up insects from the Amazon crawls up her vagina, hatches eggs and the litter kills her by eating her from the inside out. Michael Proctor.
Who is sitting around thinking about that kind of shit?
Well, I mean, Sean Goode liked it. He responded, biggest C word slut.
It's not about liking it. Like who's sitting around thinking about like typing some shit like that?
It is, I mean, it is so much beyond just like the bigotry, the misogyny. It's like you are a sick, depraved human being. You are a sick, depraved human being.
They have no regard for people.
No.
And with that coming that badge, man, I'm telling you.
I mean, you know, like a lot of people felt like defund the police is excessive, but it's like I always thought of it like defund and like revamp altogether. Like do like something different. I think the firemen should be the cops or something. But
I mean, obviously
there are safety concerns and we do need police officers, but there is a way to structure something where you've got like
you vet the people you hire. That's how you do it.
And you have maybe a private investigative force that aren't in the culture.
They've got to earmark money towards vetting the people that they're hiring. The psychological evaluations have to be epic. You
Yeah.
cannot have monsters getting these jobs. You cannot, because it ruins people's lives. It's unbelievable. If you think that the 3,600 whatever wrongful convictions that have been overturned and people have been exonerated is the full extent of it, you're living in a fantasy world. I'm talking tens and tens of thousands of wrongfully convicted people have like lived and died throughout the course of the history of this country. It's such a thing to where it's so easy for them to slip a bag of coke into a dude's pocket or just drop it into the vehicle and say that I found it. Like,
You mean like a crack pipe
we don't
and a
want
man who
to.
just protected his daughter's car?
I mean, obviously they tested it for the DNA and they ended up throwing it away because Aaron Spencer was like, "That's not my shit, bro." And they tested Aaron and he doesn't have crack in his blood, all that. But it's a terrifying prospect, because if you don't understand how like even a low felony, a possession of a controlled substance felony ruins your life, it's because you've been lucky enough to stay out of the system. Because there's plenty of good people that have been arrested, and there's plenty of horrible people that have been arrested. It's trying to shake out the good from the bad
We have a horror story we could tell. I
is
don't know
where
if you
we
want to.
live, Allie and I. And again, this is more proof that defense attorneys, and make no bones about it, this is civil, but this all started from a criminal case where you had defense attorneys, namely Alan Jackson, David Yannetti, Eliza Little, and then Bob Alessi, digging in on this case and refusing to let go, putting their careers on the line in terms of having to deal with people that they deal with all the time in those courthouses by coming out and saying what they said about what was going on with the Canton PD and the Massachusetts State Police. If you think that lawyers, defense attorneys go into that lightly, they don't. We have to consider everything. We don't throw those kind of accusations out there lightly. There's got to be something behind it. And it was like, this was like a perfect storm. If the feds don't get involved and start digging, like none of this is like, everything had to fall just so in order for us to get to where we're at right now. And every single person out there should be thanking defense attorneys. I've said it once. I've said it a million times. We are the ones that are protecting the Constitution. We are the ones protecting the citizens of this country, not the government. We
Unsung
oppose them.
heroes. Unsung heroes. I've always said it. When people question me, I'm almost shocked. Like, what do you mean? Why am I a defense attorney?
It's the
Let
whole
me
thing.
help
How do you defend that person is the question that they don't know. That's because they don't watch our channel. You start watching our channel, you're going to understand what the job really is. And it's not, oh, how do you defend a monster? It's, oh, thank you for protecting the Constitution. It's,
Right.
oh, thank you for calling dirty cops on being dirty cops, so they can't do the same thing to me down the road because no one called
As
them
we
on
can
it.
see it, that's what happens. Karen Reed.
And
Not a
many
criminal.
and many others.
Not someone that you can be like, oh, they probably did something wrong anyway. And right, many others, but I'm just saying. Okay, so then now referring to his then girlfriend's anus, I can't even get fucking near that thing. I make every effort possible. I wait till she's asleep and I try to get it. I try every effort possible. Sorry. I
mean,
try to get her hammered.
This is literally sexual assault.
Yes. I
Like,
can't
this
get
is
anywhere near it.
like a chargeable offense that he's just texted to Good. I mean, like that. If any client that we ever had that text message, he's convicted immediately, and it's coming into evidence. I mean, that's literally the definition of aggravated sexual assault. like I get her hammered while she's sleeping.
I try to
don't
get her
even-
hammered. I can't get anywhere near it. It's starting to piss me off. It's not cool. Michael Proctor. Okay? That's
Is
the
that
next one.
when is he married during that text?
Oh, is it not his wife? I don't know who it is. Oh,
It
yeah,
says
his
his
then
then
girlfriends.
I
Right.
mean, I don't know what the time frame is. Maybe he wasn't married yet. I don't know.
Okay. Went into Canton High School this morning to get a transcript and saw more N in 10 minutes than in 4 years I spent there combined. Everywhere I looked, there was monkeys running around. This is fucking outrageous. Wanted to ask the woman in the guidance office, where were all the white kids? Where the fuck did all these endlets come from? Michael Proctor. It's and got a text from Sean Goode that says, "Eat a black dick." So these are
It's unbelievable. Frank, where'd she go? She gone. All right. So, oh, wait. So here, F you with the boomer comment. We fought for civil rights and women's rights. It's a succeeding. Trust me, I'm 56. I know what y'all did. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about 75 to 80-year-old men, typically, that are on the bench that shouldn't be on the bench anymore. Talking about two different things. I'm well versed in history. As a matter of fact, CG, if you want to have a history trivia challenge, I'm up for it. I'm well versed in it. Yeah, no, it's time for younger generations to get up on the bench. That's what I'm talking about, because the bench is where it happens, because the bench is what shuts it down. And when you have a generation that is coming out of a time frame in our history wherein racism was so prevalent that we had to have things like civil rights movements and women rights movements, that allows too many of the bad ones to slip through the cracks and end up on the bench. Does that make sense to you? So
I'm gonna share my screen instead. You've got this thing that it's just doesn't make sense. You've
what
got
do you
like
mean? What thing?
like a outline that makes it like you can't makes it smaller.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine looks the exact same as yours.
What?
Yeah. I see all the stuff on yours, but I don't care. Go
You
ahead.
do?
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about like the tools and stuff over here. All right, just keep
Is
going.
that better?
It's fine. I mean, you
Did it
can
get
blow it up.
bigger?
I mean, you can blow the thing up as much as you want, at least so it's on the screen still is all you care about. All right, just keep reading. I don't care if I'm scrolling it.
Okay. If it's not any bigger, then I wish I didn't do it because now I have to scroll and not look at the screen at all. Okay. And we've got that lady was an absolute C rag N who had it in for me for some reason. Michael Proctor. Stupid, ugly. I don't even know. Can we say this word? How do you know, Asian racist word from Sean Goode? I don't know if it's that like a G word. Unfortunately, I know Randolph all too well. Place is a complete shithole filled with N, no good ends. Michael Proctor. She's a Jew, so deaf puts out. Sean Goode. Deport their asses. I don't care if they are here legally or what their excuse was. Fucking deport those sand N words. I don't even want to put it up on the screen.
It's horrible.
All right. Then you've got Asian Tard, CH Tard, Sean Goode. Detroit should be destroyed along with places like Flint, Michigan. They are breeding grounds for N words to run wild. Michael Proctor, Jew fucker, Sean Goode. It should be punch an N day and in Canton today out of retribution. Any shine you see, blast it in the face.
The S
Wow.
the S word's derogatory too. Like,
I know, but I didn't know if I should call it an S word.
I don't know.
Michael Proctor, Sean Goode, N-word. All G's, Asian word, have shrubs between their legs. Michael Proctor. Okay. America sucks. Hitler was really on to something. Then the fucking US had to step in and ruin it. Michael Proctor. Wow. Indeed, throughout the course of their friendship, which dates back to high school, Goode and Proctor bonded over the warped prism through which they both view their surroundings and the individuals they encounter in their personal and professional lives. How do we know this? Did we already know that they were friends since high school?
I didn't.
These
did not.
distorted worldviews were shaped by unimaginable hatred and intolerance, through which they dehumanize others, often wishing violence or death on them, demeaning them, or even suggesting planting evidence on them to cause them harm. In written and recorded conversations beginning in 2013, the year MSP hired Proctor, and when Goode was already an officer with CPD. For almost a decade later, these two law enforcement officers referred to community members whom they encountered as C-word, fat C-words, real C-words, N-word, dirty N-word, N-word-let, if they're children. Wow, geez. Stupid, ugly G-word for Asians, another Asian slang, Asian tard slang. I mean, spics, can you say spics?
Not
I don't know.
really. I mean, it's all hateful shit, derogatory shit, man.
And Jew chicks. Proctor and Goode believed these folks were polluting the neighborhoods in which they lived and worked and where they eventually served. They did more than just subscribe to and act in conformance with their bigotry. They actually memorialized in writing and voice messages to their like-minded friends. Not a few communications, thousands of them. They discussed sharing private nude pictures of women and intentionally ejaculating on women while they slept. What? Few protected classes, community members, or public figures were spared. Goode wrote, Boston Mayor Michelle Wu is a little C-word. The governor can suck my dick. Good. New England Patriots owned Robert Kraft is a terrible C-Jew. Sean Goode says Anne Frank's a lying C-word. Simply put, there were then and are now completely and unquestionably unfit to hold positions of authority with MSP and CPD, much less play important roles, or in Miss Reed's case, the primary role in homicide investigations. And despite that CPD had received, reviewed, verified, and analyzed these same messages nearly a year ago, Sergeant Goode remained employed with full rank as a sworn police officer by the CPD until 2 days ago. That's part right there is one of the most outrageous things as far as CPD is concerned. I mean, I don't care if someone is on like leave. You've got to say it when you see it and end it. Out fucking rageous.
See, this comment here from the Danish lady, wonder what John's fam will do about this, is so spot on. Because if I'm John O'Keefe's family, I don't know how they don't have MSP and Canton as defendants in their lawsuit, because everything goes back to them. All of it. They did zero investigation into that house, into the people into that house. They did nothing. And when it comes out that these are the people that you're dealing with, these are the people that you've entrusted with your lives and your safety in a community, it's got to piss you off, right? I mean, it's got to infuriate you. This always went back to law enforcement and their lack of an investigation into this case. If they do a real investigation from the front end, instead of this scumbag, Proctor, just landing on Karen as being the bad guy, pinning it on the girl immediately, and they do any sense of an actual police investigation, we're sitting in a different place right now.
But I don't believe for a minute that this is going to cause the O'Keefe family to have doubts, which you would think that it would, given all of the facts, like as we know them. But I feel like they're so convinced that there's like almost no unconvincing them.
Yeah, no,
But
I think you're absolutely right. And I think that the bigger problem is that everything's gotten conflated with other things. Like they probably hate Aiden so much that anything related to him bleeds into what they're feeling, because the reality is that in every situation wherein you have a victim's family that's being told something by law enforcement and then a prosecutor's office, like, we got this on lock, we got the right person, the family believes that. They need to believe it. It's part of their healing process. It's part of, bringing somebody to justice. They need to psychologically believe what they're being told is the truth. And at some point, that becomes a fact in their mind. And it's almost, how it is. It's like trying to change anybody's mind on anything. This
and
is
then
no different.
is it possible they take this as reinforcement of those beliefs to say, well, these guys were not afraid to say whatever they wanted to each other in text messages. Where's the text message about planting evidence? Where's the text message about framing Karen Reed? Where's any text message suspecting the House defendants?
The one thing that I want to know is where the hell are all the texts between Proctor and the people in that house? They have to exist. There has to be more.
Well, I think they were doing it through, well, we'll see. But yeah, I think you get a burner for that. They don't think anyone's coming to look at this stuff, but I think when they're talking about what they did in this case, there's a burner somewhere,
Yeah.
at least for one of them.
Remember, babe, this is going way back.
Right. We got to see what happens.
No, like this is going back in
2013.
years.
Right.
Yeah.
See what happens with the more local stuff. And then I was going to highlight just one other comment. There's a bunch of you guys saying stuff that I could be putting up right now, but I did something weird and my screen looks bizarre.
100% Mary Swampy. It's gospel.
Whoop. What did I do?
What do you mean?
Like I can't see the chat anymore. Oh, I see what I did. Okay. All right. I'm back. And I'm back.
And she's back.
Oh, just south of history says, I've been watching all year long for Bob. Waiting. I was trying to highlight someone else's.
Oh, sorry. I was just going in order.
Right. Well, it was somebody said something like the thing with racist. Oh, here. Mary Swampy. And I just happened to see it. And like I said, I'm sure there's so many other all on point comments, but getting rid of racists is like whack-a-mole. They just keep popping up. Facts. All right. So now I got to go back to my other screen here.
This is what I'm talking about. What Boris said.
Which is what I can't see it.
Boris said we need to get rid of the good old boys club mentality off the bench and the badge. This is a clear example of behavior that was allowed for far too long, forever. Since the inception of this country. It's been the norm. This is, again, this is nothing new. We're just seeing it with our own eyes in black and white in print. This shit's been going on forever.
That's the dog crying behind me. All right. I was able to actually make this not.
Did you feed him today?
I did this morning.
All right.
He probably needs to go out. Do you want?
I'll let him out, Reed.
Okay. All right, just know I can't see you guys' comments while I'm reading, but let me take down so that you can see what's up. Okay. On January 29th, 2022, the MSP and CPD unleashed these two misogynist bigots on Miss Reed to work on the conflicted and corrupt investigation into the death of Mr. O'Keefe. It did not take long to trigger their hatred and target Miss Reed. Indeed, Proctor, Goode, other police officers, and their respective organizations understood the assignment once their fellow cops and friends, Brian and Nicole Albert, Matthew and Jennifer McCabe, and Brian Higgins, referred to as house defendants in Miss Reed's pending federal court action, falsely reported that Mr. O'Keefe, quote, never went inside the house. Even though his face was battered and bruised, he had dog bites and scratches on his arm, and he had severe laceration on the back of his head that could only have come from a backward fall onto a rigid surface in the house rather than a flat front lawn. Law enforcement began immediately targeting and framing the female outsider, Miss Reed. As the MSP assigned lead investigator, and without knowing any more about Miss Reed than she was an outsider and a female, Proctor openly exposed his ossified prejudice when he described her in his group chat buddies as a, quote, retard, whack job C word, with no ass that leaks poo, whom they decided 16 hours into the investigation had, quote, zero chance of skating. She's fucked, he pronounced. Proctor intended to, quote, make the investigation cut and dry so he and his close-knit circle of friends could pin it on, quote, the girl. Immediately after Miss Reed's arrest, Goode made some of the same type of sexualized and dehumanizing comments about Miss Reed's medical condition and physical appearance that he and Proctor peddled in the hallway of their organizations on a daily basis. Quote, Jesus, every girl will want a brain tumor, multiple sclerosis, colitis, if you can look like that in yoga pants after killing your boyfriend. Wow. Meanwhile, as Goode pondered Miss Reed in yoga pants, Proctor seized Miss Reed's phone and launched immediately into search for naked pictures of her, only to report back to his colleagues and friends disappointingly, quote, no nudes so far. But he wrote to others as the investigation began, he hoped that she kills herself. MSP and CPD's investigative approach was born out of Proctor and Goode's perverse, depraved pattern of singling out and vilifying an outsider while protecting the blue line and their families. This was, of course, made more palatable by dehumanizing Miss Reed. With the help of Goode and CPD, Proctor and his colleagues at MSP, including his direct supervisor, Yuri, is that how you spell Yuri? Is that a typo? Yuriy, whatever. Mechanic, Buchanek, conducted a fundamentally conflicted and corrupt investigation where the goal was to pin it on the girl, and which included rampant violations of policies, procedures, and ethical rules. For example, and as described further below, despite the overwhelming evidence that Mr. O'Keefe was inside the house at 34 Fairview Road, they did not search the home for blood, fingerprints, or DNA evidence. The house was neither processed nor photographed by a forensic criminalist. Indeed, the investigators did not even walk into the crime scene house until a week later, and then only a pro forma visit and a brief, quote, interview of Nicole Albert, yes, a so-called interview. No effort was made to secure evidence from the Albert's German Shepherd, even though Mr. O'Keefe's body was found in the front yard with fresh and obvious dog bites and scratches on his right arm. I still, to this day, people, do not understand how many people could think Karen Reed did this when those are the injuries on the arm. You got lack of injuries, you got all the other shit, but what in the hell about your common sense tells you those injuries could be from anything that the state has described. I don't think we know for sure what it could be, but I'll tell you one thing. It sure as shit looks a hell of a lot more like dog scratches or bites, teeth or claw marks, than random scattered pieces of glass shattering and just, randomly shooting into your arm. Nor did Proctor, Buchanan, or their MSP colleagues conduct any physical examination of the House defendants or attempt to seize their phones. The investigators did not attempt to secure the crime scene, document evidence, collect biological material, videotape or record interviews, take DNA samples, geolocate digital devices at the scene, collect electronic devices, secure surveillance footage, create a crime scene log, or maintain even the most basic chains of custody in accordance with well-established investigative protocol. Now, let me just talk about this for a second. The first thing every investigative detective, police officer, I mean, just a patrol officer is doing when they walk up on a car accident, a crime, let alone the murder and lying of a dead body out in front of a house, is look around and see which houses have doorbell cameras. Oh, which houses have doorbell cameras? Let me go and collect those. Let me go and ask them to preserve those. This they did not want. Why? Why? All right. Worse yet, with the help of others at both MSP and CPD, Proctor and Buchanan manufactured evidence to ensure that Miss Reed was blamed for Mr. O'Keefe's death, intentionally diverting attention away from Proctor's friends and fellow law enforcement officers. This included planting evidence at the scene on Mr. O'Keefe's clothes and on Mrs. Reed's vehicle to support the House defendant's false narrative that Miss Reed struck Mr. O'Keefe with her vehicle, notwithstanding that the investigators knew Mr. O'Keefe's injuries were inconsistent with a motor vehicle strike and consistent with a physical altercation and dog attack. Again, that is just so blatantly obvious. Even if, let's say, it's wrong and somehow these injuries could have been related to a car accident, anyone with the slightest bit of common sense initially thinks, as we did see, they did initially think, that it was consistent with a physical altercation, that he looked punched in the eye, that there was some kind of fight, that this man was hit. I mean, it takes a stretch to look at him and have your thought be, oh, maybe he was hit by a car. Maybe he was hit by a car. Oh, but I got this woman saying, did I hit him? So I guess he was hit by a car. I'm going to ignore my common sense. I'm not going to investigate shit. Even if you take it and assume they weren't being corrupt from the start, it's hard to understand how that obvious narrative, again, right or wrong, at first glance, appears this is someone who was in a physical altercation. He's been beaten the shit out of. Among other failures, MSP and CPD's delegation of power and authority to those as biased, corrupt, and bigoted as Proctor and Goode led to Miss Reed being wrongfully accused of homicide for 3.5 years and subjected to suspicion, to arrests, to prosecution and public trials, and public condemnation. Indeed, with the exercise of ordinary care, both MSP and CPD would have known that Proctor, Goode, and others were unfit for service from the beginning. Please tell me at some point in this complaint, it's got to talk about the Sally Port. That was CPD, right? I mean, it's got to talk about the Sally Port, right? It's got to talk about the lying about times they got places and when they towed cars. So incredibly, Proctor himself acknowledged this fact in 2017 after 4 years on the job, telling his friends, "No idea how I passed the background." Yeah, right. Now, after being twice acquitted of all charges related to Mr. O'Keefe's death, Miss Reed brings this action to recover for and address MSP's and CPD's actions, inactions, and negligent failures to ensure that justice was sought and served in the aftermath of January 29, 2022. To be clear, however, this complaint transcends Miss Reed's personal and actionable grievance. Rather, it is a clarion call for reform and accountability, cloaked with the emblem of authority. MSP and CPD and their employees, Proctor, Goode, and others, betrayed their sworn commitment to uphold the law. Their prejudices undermined our very democratic principles in wielding the great force of government over those who are vulnerable and powerless. Yes, amen. Thank you. MSP's and CPD's culture of intolerance hidden from the public, but in plain sight with these organizations, cannot stand unchallenged. MSP and CPD are culpable and must confront the consequences of their institutional negligence. So we've got the parties, the jurisdiction, and the incorporated facts. So they're incorporating the facts of the below 28, the alleged paragraphs in 28 and 107. So what I can't tell is if they actually okay. So what they're doing is incorporating the facts that they alleged in their other in paragraphs 28 through 108 of their amended complaint in the uh in the other action into this complaint. So they're federal allegations, right? Federal? Yeah. Okay. Reed alleges the following additional facts related to Proctor, MSP, Goode, and CPD. So we have Proctor and Goode's ingrained misogyny, racism, homophobia, anti-Semitism, and other biases. By January 29, 2022, Proctor and Goode both invertebrate into can't even read bigots had long-standing and deeply held biases against women, as well as almost every protected class of people other than white male, non-Jewish, of course, police officers. Proctor and Goode's clear willingness and tendency to dehumanize, judge, and evaluate people and circumstances based on their hatred and biases significantly contributed to their willingness to embrace the narrative provided by the House defendants and target Miss Reed, leading to the destruction of her career, her financial stability, and her very freedom, as well as the emotional and physical harm caused by 2 years long prosecutions and trials for crimes she did not commit. I think I missed where that
That footnote was. It might be.
Oh, it's right
Oh,
here
there
where
it
they're
is.
incorporating, right. So it says originally Miss Reed attempted to file her affirmative claims against all parties, including the town of Canton, Massachusetts, in the one action she filed on Bristol Superior Court. That pleading contains all of the alleged facts sufficient to establish all claims against all parties. However, the town of Canton Police Department, Massachusetts State Police refused to waive the 6-month presentment period, and by the time the presentment period expired, the House defendants had removed Miss Reed's Superior Court complaint to federal court, where it is now pending. Because the Massachusetts State Police enjoys immunity from federal court jurisdiction, Miss Reed cannot add these claims to the pending federal court action. So she's probably walking up against a statute of limitations, had to get it filed, but there's this 6-month waiting period. So, I mean, that really hurts Karen, having to do this in 2 different courts. And do we know, are the lawyers different in the federal court than are in this?
I don't know. I didn't see who signed off on this particular pleading, so I'm not sure. I don't think so, because I think originally they were trying to.
So we've
'cause
got.
we were covering that.
Here's Alan Jackson, and she and Finney Bass and Green, Damian Seligson.
Yeah, I think it's the same firms then, because
Yeah,
they
and you've
were
got.
talking about trying to they wanted to join this with the original complaint, and the judge was like, he's like, it's already pretty complicated. The judge didn't seem too hip to joining this cause of action with the other ones. So I think that was kind of the impetus.
So is Alan Jackson handling the federal? Does anyone know?
I think Alan's on all the cases.
Wow. I mean, he just might as well close up shop.
I mean, he's full time. He's full time, Karen Reed. There's no question about that.
He hasn't said that he's handling it pro se, has he?
No.
I mean,
I mean, we don't know. I mean, with civil complaints, it could be contingent. But we discuss this. It's like in a case like this.
Yeah.
If you've got defendants that don't have deep pockets, when you're trying to analyze what kind of fee agreement you need to get into, it's probably a hybrid, some kind of hybrid, where Karen had to fork up some cash and then they'll take some out of the recovery as well. But I mean, this is a massive amount of work.
Not that it matters, but I would have made the, I would have made 28 to 10 whatever here and started at the next number. So when they responded, they actually had to respond to each of those. Maybe they will anyway, because it is incorporated fully. It's just not in there. So the additional facts, and then this is where I started reading. Okay, their hatred and biases significantly contributed to their willingness to embrace the narrative provided by the House defendants and target Miss Reed, leading to the destruction of her career, her financial stability, and her very freedom, as well as the emotional and physical harm caused by 2 years long prosecutions and trials for which she did not commit. Proctor and Goode's reservoir of, what is that? Vituperation? I need a dictionary.
Yeah, vituperation. Do you want me to get you the definition?
Vituperation.
I'll look that one up.
Fed by their staggering prejudices and the extent to which they were willing to pass judgment on others based solely on gender, race, religion, or sexual orientation are apparent from each of their contributions to the cesspool of.
So vituperation is a noun that refers to bitter, severe, and abusive verbal criticism.
Wow.
It describes a sustained torrent of harsh language or insults intended to express deep-seated anger, blame, or vehement condemnation.
Wow.
It's almost like Bob
visceral?
Alexi's like in the shadows throwing words out at him. You know what a great word is? That is a great word.
It is a great word. Of abject hatred reflected in their group chats and email chains with their friends beginning in 2013. They did only get Proctor's stuff, right? So they only know what Goode was sending to Proctor. If anyone knows in chat.
I don't know that they got Goode's phone.
I didn't think so, but if anyone in chat knows, but below is a selection of those messages. All right, messages sent by Proctor.
I want all their phones. I want all their phones. Everybody, give me your phones. We need to look at your shit now. Like, that's what I was starting to say, babe, like earlier, how this can, how it could turn into some kind of precedent, not from the legal side of it, because I think the law is going to protect people's privacy above all else in terms of having unfettered access to, somebody's personal phone by mere way of their profession seems like a non-starter. But in terms of police departments, there's got to be some kind of policy.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean,
as a lawyer, I would.
That's what I'm saying. This is like a 1 in a million thing that just happened, where we're getting to see behind the curtain.
I think this should lead to discoverable information against Goode, and then anything that anything that shows.
I'm talking about in other cases.
I know you are, and I'm saying no, and I'm also saying no. I mean, not only for their civil rights and privacy, but what kind of cops do you want? We cannot get cops that are never like the kind that say or do anything.
They're not afraid to give me their phones.
But those people are probably out of touch with the rest of anyone who's that good and clean. You need people who
I think
understand.
There's plenty of people that are good and clean that are not out of touch with the
reality. No, but that wants you to read every word they've written, what they've never smoked a joint. They're not getting drunk. I mean, I don't know.
Who gives a shit about stuff like that? Like, that's not some kind of fundamental flaw in a human being, because people expose,
you can't be a cop and smoke a joint.
Well,
you'll be fired.
I mean,
Maybe now
that's
you
a
can.
whole different conversation. If it's full legal in the state, then if they're allowing alcohol
Right.
off duty, then they should be allowing marijuana off there because there's no difference. If it's legal, it's legal, it's legal. It's different, like if they're concerned that you're using on the job, either
Well,
booze or weed, same thing. They're interchangeable now, is presuming that it's legal in your state.
well,
Like I
like
can't stand the double standard for weed.
right. No, I agree. But like you were saying, I mean, there's the whole um psychological and personality test and like upping that. But when someone's going to be a judge, they call people that they so I've gotten a call for one of an AUSA, an assistant United States attorney that I was on a case with, was up for being a judge. So they called me and
On
they
a
asked
federal
me
bench?
questions for the federal bench. They asked me questions. Yeah, what did you think of her? Did you think she was honest? Do you think I had real concerns? That was like one of the cases where I was like, this is an outrage. You people are full of shit. You guys are like trying to, like all sorts of stuff. So they should do that with police going backwards. Have you ever known him to make any, to hold any racist beliefs? But,
Well, that's what I was saying when my father applied for the Federal Aviation Administration to be an attorney for them. Like the vetting process was insane. They went back decades. Were you not paying attention when I was saying like they went through that whole story? It was
oh
like it was
no, I
in
didn't.
like it was crazy. Like they went to like Bob and Janine, and they went to Bob and Janine's neighbor. Like, I mean, the vetting process
That's what they
from the
need to do.
federals. I mean, that's what I was saying. I mean, that's the level of vetting when you have that much power that you're handing over to somebody, that we need to be that secure that this person's not a piece of shit.
Right. And then you
You
have
know,
to trust them to a point, and then maybe if something happens, you get their phone, like
see, the
you can't just
problem with
take everyone's
corruption,
phones.
babe, is that it starts from the head of the snake. Like if you're a young cop and you're coming in bright eyed, open heart, like wanting to do good, and you're like, shit, man, I'm going to go out here, I'm going to change the world for the better. And then you unwittingly walk into a corrupt department. And the first time you're out with your ride along partner who's been on the job for 15 years and who happens to be dirty. And the first time, you guys do a drug bust and he's in there and you find stacks and he's like, look, we're each going to just take one of these and stuff it in our vest. No one's going to be none the wiser. I mean, that's how it starts. And that kid who's like, all right, well, no, that creates a problem within the department for all those that are corrupt. And like I said, the superiors, they know of it. Like shit like that's not going under the radar. It's like it's insidious. It just is, and it corrupts. Purely corrupts.
Right.
Corruption always corrupts. It's like a
Right.
never-ending vicious cycle.
And you can see the vetting that they did here. We're going to discuss some of the flaws that are obvious, because here's messages sent by Proctor. Even during MSP's hiring process, Michael Proctor could not contain his bigoted views. On February 26, 2013, Proctor wrote to his friends, "Hey, dickheads, just wanted to give you two a heads up that you guys may get a call from a state trooper named Scott Cooper who is doing my background check. Don't know how far back they are going to go with this stuff, but didn't want to have this guy catch you off guard." And his friend responds, "No problem. But what are we supposed to say? Last time the Boston Police Department lady was grilling me for the exact dates as to when and how long you lived in Brighton, how we paid rent, to who, etc. Anything specific we should be aware of." Proctor responded, "That lady was an absolute C word, rag, N word, who had it in for Bear," referring to himself in the third person by his nickname, Bear, in his friends group. Wow. Okay. "Talked to this guy for a half hour today and would be shocked he pulled the same shit as her just from how she acted with me on the phone." Apparently, MSP did not pull the same shit as the Boston Police Department, who did not hire him. So there's something. As soon as you're not hired by another police department, they should be obligated to say why and what and everything they base their shit on. During these interviews, because MSP hired Proctor, It hired him at the time Proctor was constantly sharing countless messages with his friends and other law enforcement officers that illustrate the extreme and aggressive prejudice and biases he held against women, people of color, the LGBTQ community, and others. Proctor's views even polluted his thinking about MSP's hierarchy and leadership. Quote, if that person is black, they will probably make him the next colonel of the state police. Much of Proctor's aggression and hatred, however, was directed at women. In fact, from the time of his hire at MSP through the time he began investigating Miss Reed, Proctor shared countless messages with his friends about his perspectives on women. Discussing a sexual partner not wanting to be ejaculated on, quote, that's when you whack off on her when she's asleep. Then tell her one way or the other you will spray a rope on her. Michael Proctor. Okay. B, fat twat, Michael Proctor. C, giant. All right, we read this one about the giant malignant C word. I pray the heavens somebody, I won't reread that. It goes on to say micromanage isn't even the word for this twat bag. I want to shove a crowbar up her asshole and let rat crawl in there. Are we serious right now? This is, I mean, there's all the other stuff, like you said before, but then there's like this and things like this that are just like, you're depraved, like literally depraved. D, that will turn into me jacking off on her while she sleeps. Michael Proctor. Again, referring to his ex-girlfriend Zanus. We heard that. F, thick pigs. What's that mean?
You're asking me to get into Proctor's
Well,
head?
they're quoting it. So they must think it means something related to misogyny.
I don't
All right. Discussing specific sexual acts and the need to potentially, quote, get at it while she's asleep. Michael Proctor. Discussing needing, quote, a roofie or something to find a sexual partner. All right. So it sounds like that is, I'm assuming, hopefully in jest, or they would have like fleshed it out more, but well, I guess we'll see. I ain't gonna happen. She will pass out at 9 and I will stay up until midnight drinking and watching movies. I could swoop in for the kill when she's asleep, though.
What?
I mean, it sounds like he's doing this all the time. I mean, how much could she sleep
Oh my God.
if he's not roofing her? Oh my God. Pigs I have stuffed. All right. So I guess pigs are women. K, part of like jacking off is to do it on an absolute pig, not some Brazilian smoke show top 12 model. You want a filthy pig that you just do dirty things to. Give me some thick girls with some meat who you can just shit on. Oh my God. He is depraved. He is
I never thought I'd see a cop that was worse than what's his face from OJ.
Right?
That dude was pretty bad. Like Proctor takes the cake. Like this guy is. Think about this guy walking around with a gun and a badge for all those years. Oh my God.
Referring to overweight women as a disgrace, an absolute pig, and a C word, all Michael Proctor. During the same time frame, Proctor also prolifically messaged his friends about his similar hatred of Black, Asian, Hispanic, Arab, and Jewish people. All right, you read these.
Okay. After observing a multi-car accident and initially informing Goode in a case he was on duty, Proctor followed up. Actually, take your time. I saw an N-word was involved, so I wouldn't rush if you're working. Let them die. Emphasis added. Literally hate 99% of the people I meet, see, and deal with. Dudes went into Canton High this morning to get a transcript and saw more N-words in 10 minutes than the 4 years I spent there combined. Everywhere I looked, there was monkeys running around. Wanted to ask the woman in the guidance office, where are all the white kids? Where the fuck did all these endlets come from? Michael Proctor. What, dude, what? Discussing a college football game. You notice that N-words had banned from A&M said something like hashtag cash me out. Would have been nice if they were still our slaves. Oh my God. Then I wouldn't have to go pick up Bertucci's. Hey, N-word, go fetch Bear his wings on pizza. Proctor.
What a
Jesus,
fucking
that place was
sicko.
a dump. Smelled like ends and cigarettes. Michael Proctor. Another plane was brought back to the gate because of two sand N-words speaking Arabic, and people on the plane were freaked out and had them kicked off. Proctor. If an American pulled some terrorist act in the Middle Eastern country, they would have their heads chopped off in the middle of the closest major city for all the citizens to see and cheer on. Instead, this person will get lethal injection in a secluded federal prison and be viewed as a hero to all the N-words around the world. Michael Proctor. Word up, dudes. Been just crushing business shit today. Actually, not really. Just been dipping and trying to make sense of what the G word next to me is saying. Michael Proctor. Despite their asses, I don't care if they're deport their asses. I don't care if they're here illegally or what their excuse was. Fucking deport those sand N-words. Michael Proctor. The NBA is god awful as a fucking joke. These super teams and the refs are ruining the league. Plus, it's all N-words. Michael Proctor. All I have to say about Hernandez is stupid S word. Michael Proctor. You guys can see the words, right? I'm just not going to say them, obviously. This is how fucking stupid she is. We got a new intern. Kid is a complete lemon dick. Who has been there 1 week. She drags him into her office and asks him for advice on how to bring the group closer. There are 4 people who the rest of us hate, and it's obvious 3 out of 4 are Asian. Surprise, surprise.
Who the rest of us hate. The rest of us. So there's something going more towards the whole police force.
Wouldn't mind being an N-word for the day. Just pop open a fire hydrant and suck down a few 40 ounces while listening to some Naughty by Nature. Michael Proctor. And cops. Michael Proctor. Too many Jews in Sharon. Michael Proctor. America sucks. Hitler was really onto something. Then the fucking U.S. had to step in and ruin it. Michael Proctor. Discussing a pornographic movie called Blackjack City. And was nothing but fat N-words getting pounded out with huge runny flapjack tits. Michael Proctor. Detroit should be destroyed along with places like Flint, Michigan. They're breeding grounds for N-words to run wild. Michael Proctor. Obviously, I can't watch a black dude fuck a white chick. Michael Proctor. Randolph is filled with N-words and no good N-words. Michael Proctor. Sand N-word, Proctor. G-word, Proctor.
Asian slang.
Yeah, Asian slang. N-word movie, Michael Proctor. I wouldn't rush. I hear an N-word was involved. Michael Proctor. We could use them N-words as dartboards. Michael Proctor. N-word lover, Michael Proctor. It should be punch an N-word day in Canton out of retribution. Any S-word you see, blast in the face. Proctor.
Blast it
In the face. Important. Thank you.
Yeah.
Recommending a movie theater because there are no N-words. Michael Proctor discussing his first arrest and saying it was a fucking immigrant who was going back to Guatemala. Proctor. All G words have shrubs between their legs. Proctor. Noodle N-word. Michael
I don't
Proctor.
understand what that means. Noodle
I'm assuming
N-word.
it's Asian, maybe. I don't know. Who knows? I haven't shot anyone, but I did pull an N-word over today for tossing a cigarette out the window. Michael Proctor.
Wow.
Asshole N-words ruin the NBA. Eat a dick, Ghana. Let's enslave those N-words. My car needs a cleaning. Michael Proctor. I'd rather deal with the R words at Starbucks than an R word Brazilian at Dunks. Michael Proctor. As for everyone's favorite race to bang, Middle Eastern would be asinine. Michael Proctor, sand N-word, discussing Jewish people from Sharon and stating we really should keep them in a concentration camp. Michael Proctor, if I went to this cobbler to have an asshole stretch so I could fit Black Hog in it, and asked if they do boots too.
Wait.
Michael Proctor.
I went to this cobbler to have, it's supposed to be my asshole stretch so I could fit Black Hog in it and asked if they do boots too. Okay. Asian-eyed.
Asian-eyed.
That's all you can say for that.
Yeah. In addition to these horrific statements indicating the extent to which, here, shrink it down,
I was doing it, trying.
which he believed those with backgrounds and characteristics similar to him, white male, were superior to others, non-white women. Proctor also wasn't shy about his other proclivities that made him patently unfit for service, including that more than once Proctor discussed planting coke on people, and, quote, shoving a nightstick up someone's ass.
Wait, is that for real? Are we going to hear more about that? I hate for them to say that, and then it's something like, I wish I could shove a nightstick up their butt, or I wish I could plant evidence. Like, this sounds like he was actually discussing planting coke on people and shoving nightstick up someone's ass. Like, I hope this gets fleshed out. I mean,
well,
okay.
I'm assuming that Michael Proctor is going to be deposed. So yeah, I keep saying about all the Reed civil cases, it's like, if we could somehow get our hands collectively on the depositions, they're going to be epic.
They'll quote them. They're going to quote them at length and
Epic.
attach them as exhibits.
It'll blow anything that you've ever heard in a court of law out of the water. They're going to be epic. So Proctor recognized his inadequacy in 2017, writing that he, quote, had no idea how he passed the background. Yeah, us either, Proctor. Also, although he did explain that MSP, quote, detective units do the background check for applicants, they allow a girl into the next academy who admitted to using cocaine and ecstasy and recently used those drugs, end quote. Well, that tracks. So Sergeant Goode was no more discreet about his own biased and deranged views. Like Proctor, while a CPD officer, you're going up a little too far for me to see it. I think. Maybe not. Goode regularly referred to and discussed women in venomous ways. C-word, Sean Goode. Fat C-word, Sean Goode. A real C-word, Sean Goode. Fucking C-word, Sean Goode. The biggest C-word, Sean Goode. Slut, Sean Goode. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu is a little C-word, Sean Goode. Wait, she's sending you nudes? Send them. That's quotes. If Lisa would let me see her cans and actually take a photo of them, I would send them. We are family here. All quote.
Wow.
He displayed the same racial and religious supremacist viewpoints as Proctor, which, like his misogyny, impacted how he viewed the members of the public he encountered on a regular basis as a police officer. Among others, Goode sent these messages while he was a CPD officer, referring to Robert Kraft, who's the owner of the Patriots, as a terrible C-word Jew. Sean Goode, N-word, Sean Goode. Can't deal with the G words, Asian derogatory word, Sean Goode.
They're all Sean. We can leave that out.
Yeah, I like to say their names, though.
Okay.
G-Land, Sean Goode. Jews controlled the election, ? Sean Goode. She's a Jew, so she definitely puts out Sean Goode. The Jew chick, Sean Goode. Stupid, ugly G word, referring to Asian, Sean Goode. Jew fucker, Sean Goode. Eat a black dick, eat an Asian dick. Derogatory C word for Asians, Sean Goode. Very Jewy, Sean Goode. Ali is a Jewish woman. How do you feel about this? You feel pretty enraged a little bit?
I mean, as enraged as I do about all of it. So.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. Very Jewy, Sean Goode. G word, Sean Goode for Asians. C word for Asians, tard, Sean Goode. Noisy little Jew dweeb. Is that a Jew or a black? Sean Goode never understood whiny Jew humor, Jew sympathizers, and Frank's a lying C word.
Now that one,
K, derogatory word for Jews. Now, how are the blacks down there? Very blacky. Sean Goode. So Goode also shared disdain for homosexual members of the community in Canton and elsewhere, referring to them repeatedly as fags, homos, and sea suckers. Like Proctor, Goode exhibited more in these messages than just his bias and hate. He also showed that that he lacks the basic discretion and neutrality required of a police officer deputized to protect and serve all members of the community, regardless of skin color and ethnicity, gender, religious beliefs, and or sexual orientation. Just one example. In 2022, as an 18-year veteran of Canton Police Department, Goode shared his views in writing on Sandra Birchmore, a young woman who tragically died the year before in Canton and whose death was initially ruled a suicide until federal authorities discovered that multiple officers from neighboring town Stoughton's police department had been essaying Miss Birchmore when she was a minor. After federal authorities investigated, they charged a former Stoughton police officer with her murder, and her death is now classified as a homicide at the federal level. The Norfolk County District Attorney's Office earlier this year changed her death from suicide to undetermined. Against this backdrop, Goode told his friends that, quote, that chick was borderline retarded,
wow.
unquote. Super compassionate guy.
Mm.
Goode also helped his friends avoid repercussions for what appears to have been their regular practice of driving drunk.
Of course. Of course.
It's the least he could do.
Right.
Sobriety checkpoint on 138 by the trail side tonight. Please stay away tonight. Can't help you if you get caught. Too many troopers in Milton PD. Keep this info in between us. He apparently relishes his ability to use his institutional power, authority, and access to illegally obtain information about women he encountered in his daily life, writing in 2015, ha, can't wait to look this C word up tonight at work.
All right. So then we've got allegations about, that they should have known.
Wait, I want to read it. Like, I don't want to skip
do?
through it. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Are you kidding me? I've been waiting for this complaint my whole life, or one just like it. Proctor and Goode's biases, bigotry, and personal histories were known or should have been known to MSP and CPD when they hired, trained, promoted, and supervised them. Not only were MSP and CPD on notice of Proctor and Goode's troubling views and intolerant attitude towards various members of the community, they were sworn to protect and serve during the underlying investigation into Mr. O'Keefe's death. But Proctor's supervisor knew Proctor had a close relationship with the Alberts, and that Proctor made no secret of his bias against Miss Reed, demonstrating a clear prejudice against her from the outset. For its part, CPD refuses to acknowledge its role in this debacle of an investigation or recognizes significant flaws in its hiring, training, and supervising practices, illustrated by Goode's continued role as a sergeant for the CPD until 2 days ago, when, upon information and belief, CPD was informed by MSP's counsel that this complaint would soon be filed.
All right. So I just want to pause right there because I was noting, and I'm just going to go down. We're on page 19 to 87, that they weren't using upon information and belief for anything. Like they're saying all these things as fact, like they planted evidence and
Well,
what the House defendants do.
explain the
So
distinction, babe.
in, so in Illinois, if you're filing a verified complaint, meaning you're swearing to the truth of it, then you have to say anything that you don't have personal knowledge is true, then you have to say upon information and belief. And the fact that they're using it for this one sentence kind of shows that they're not using it for any of the others, which, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the filing, um, what their pleading practices are, if that's going to be an issue later. But when you're saying something you strongly suspect, but you don't have personal knowledge that you know it with your own eyes, your own ears to be true, you know, you would typically say upon information and belief. So I just find it odd that they used it. They used it in this one spot, but not in any others.
So not only were MSP and CPD on notice of Proctor and Goode's troubling views and intolerant attitudes.
Oh, you read that. Sorry, you were at
I did.
50.
Okay. Helpful right to the end, CPD then permitted Goode to resign 2 days before the filing of this complaint rather than firing him, and thus saving him from the reputational and financial implications of being terminated for cause.
So I just want to pause there because I am still shocked. I find that so outrageous
It's
that
offensive.
they had these text messages for a year. They knew all about all of this for a year and didn't do a thing about it. Didn't do a thing about it.
Nothing. I mean, that's a very it's like the absolute definition of negligent retention. It's worse than negligent.
Well, I think he might have been on like not on the streets if he was on leave, but he should have been
Who are you
terminated.
talking about, Goode or Proctor?
Well, Proctor was already fired by the time they got these text messages, but they knew of his other ones longer than they should have, and they should have done something.
Let us know in the chat. Was Goode on administrative leave? Has he I
That's
wasn't
what
aware of that.
that's what that newscast said. But I wasn't
So
sure.
he's been
So
on leave for like a year.
I don't see if the chat's agreeing. Glama Suze says, we only know about this because they chose to pin it on the girl. Persecuting Karen has boomeranged. Yeah. Melissa, welcome. What'd she get, babe?
Oh, family hug.
Okay, I put this up earlier, just south of history, said Turtle Boy was right. But the attorneys like DD have been warning us that this was a real problem for a while too. I mean, yeah, there's no doubt that Turtle Boy was right about the depth and depravity of the corruption going on within, Massachusetts. It's crazy. Ad for Dread. Oh, we know Ad for Dread. Either welcome or welcome back. But what's he get?
Oh, family hug.
Ad
Welcome
for
back.
Dread says, what those messages said was very troubling. These guys are white supremacists. If they said this in private, I imagine there's no limit they wouldn't go to protect themselves. And that's what all these messages show. And that's sort of the point that, well, we're talking about a white woman here. What's with all these allegations about all this other stuff? It goes to your character. It goes to who you are, your very core of your being, and allowing that type of environment and to fester in your police department allows for all levels of corruption. And D Nice, thank you, gifted 5 Defense Diary memberships.
Thanks, D Nice.
So Alpha She-Wolf, member for 28 months. Oh, gee, this is much worse than I could have imagined.
See, this is exactly what I imagined.
But it's still worse.
It's shocking to see it. It's exactly what we know goes. Like anybody that thought that those were one-offs for Proctor when we got the first, the references to how he was talking about Karen and thought that that was the only time that this guy spoke. Like, I'm sure if you go back to our lives when that became public, that, I'm like, this is who this dude is. This isn't like some kind of one-off. Like, this isn't a rare occurrence. This isn't the exception. This is the rule. This is who he is. This is who Goode is. And these guys were out on your streets, Canton and Massachusetts, and they were the ones that were out there protecting you. And I'm using air quotes when I say that. You should be furious because your tax dollars are the one who pays their salaries. That's how they get paid. And these are the people that are walking around with uniforms. And I guarantee you, these are not the only two. Like, at this point, you have to understand that, right?
Yeah, it's
these guys are not the only two in either of these departments that are like this, right? I mean, we all accept that as a fact, right? Who they are, I have no clue. but I guarantee you they exist.
Sue says, are we familiar with Melissa Kalunsky's case? I'm not. Are you?
Kalusinski's? No.
Kaluzinski's, yeah.
Tell me more. Tell me more. All right, so let's go back to the body of the document here. I think I read Boris's, babe.
Oh.
So as for the MSP, both before and during the Proctor-led investigation, his immediate supervisor, Yuri Buchanan, provided his annual employment reviews. True to form, despite knowing firsthand the extent of Proctor's unlawful conduct, bias, and bigotry, Buchanan repeatedly and falsely wrote that Proctor has handled himself with the utmost professionalism and with strict integrity, and confirmed that they had successfully discussed MSP's policies concerning anti-harassment and sexual harassment and discrimination and diversity, among other things. Wow. Love to have been a fly on the wall for that conversation.
Yeah.
So other times the MSP...
That's another thing. They should have to record all of those.
For sure. Other times the MSP simply looked the other way. For example, in February of 2024, 4 months before Ms. Reed's first trial, the MSP was aware that they had a problem specifically related to Ms. Reed's case. The Department of Justice had begun investigating the investigators, and on February 1st, questioned Proctor in a grand jury proceeding about text messages he wrote in which he called Ms. Reed a C-word, among other bigoted comments that the Department of Justice had found. So Proctor was questioned about his text at 11 p.m. on January 29, 2022, that House defendant Brian Albert would escape scrutiny in the investigation because, quote, he's a Boston cop too, end quote. Further, Proctor was confronted at this grand jury about texts from Julie Albert to his sister, Courtney Proctor, who asking him to give Proctor a gift for some implied favor he did for the Alberts during their interviews for the case. On February 4th of 2024, Proctor had a meeting and told the highest level leadership at MSP, Colonel John E. Maughan, recently retired, Lieutenant Brian Connors, recently retired, and Major Leonard Coppenrath, active, about his testimony to the Department of Justice, including his text messages. They did not terminate him. They did not immediately ask for his phone and did not immediately investigate his bigotry. They knew it existed and where to find it, but they didn't want to, at least until Ms. Reed's trial was over. Indeed, they tried to hide it. From Miss Reed and the public, despite initiating an internal affairs investigation in early March of 2024, before the jury in Miss Reed's first criminal trial was even impaneled. It was not until Miss Reed's defense counsel found out about these messages and then used them during the public trial that MSP concluded that it couldn't ignore this any longer.
Oh, I mean, we can't ignore it because everybody knows about it.
Oh, yeah, the shit's out there now.
Shit. I guess we better not keep ignoring this. They already know we've ignored it.
Spin doctor over here. We got to write some shit up and try to... What? This is terrible. This is terrible. So MSP proceeded to falsely claim that it only become aware of the messages during the defense's cross-examination and finally terminated Proctor. Anybody buying that?
That is just disgusting.
Anybody buying that?
The
whole internet was ablaze with this shit. And not one of those idiots over at MSP saw any of this? Sure, pal.
And it was he was being questioned about it in front of a grand jury, and he talked about it, It's
brutal. So while Internal Affairs, MSP's Office of Professional Integrity and Accountability, see, this is that thing that I'm always saying. Internal Affairs can't be cops. It's got to be somebody that's completely not involved with the department in any form or fashion. The same way a conviction integrity unit can't be prosecutors. It's got to be defense attorneys. Like, you're never going to get an honest assessment. It's like no part of me thinks that Internal Affairs is getting up in cops' asses unless it's absolutely mandatory. Like, there's no way to avoid it. Like if it's something that they think that they can sweep under the rug, they're going to sweep it under the rug. You know, I mean, it
Yeah.
can't be cops policing cops.
No.
Just can't. So while Internal Affairs launched a probe led by Detective Lieutenant Kevin Dwyer to investigate Proctor's lewd text messages regarding Miss Reed, the MSP inexplicably assigned two OPIA troopers, Major Benson and Captain Barrios, to perform cursory and brief interviews of the Proctors and Alberts, inquiring about their personal relationships with one another. The Proctors and Alberts were not confronted with any texts or social media posts depicting their decades-long family-like bond. No outside witnesses were interviewed. No cell phones were seized. No evidence was presented. It was not just reasonably foreseeable, but nearly certain that MSP and CPD's failure to use ordinary care in selecting to whom they would impart power would result in members of the public being targeted and severely impacted by officers and troopers' elemental shortcomings. Put differently, the bias and corrupt investigation that harmed Miss Reed was the natural consequence of MSP and CPD hiring and promoting biased and corrupt law enforcement officers. 100%. 100%. So in line with their barely concealed willingness to dehumanize and condemn people, coupled with their readiness to ignore or overlook objective evidence, Proctor and Goode began the investigation against the female outsider with bias and prejudice fueled by their bigotry.
So the next section is after Proctor and Goode launched the bias and corrupt investigation, other police officers followed suit and caused harm to Miss Reed. After the start of the investigation, other MSP and CPD also contributed to the unlawful investigation that stripped Miss Reed of her constitutional rights. Hold on, I've got to get on the screen so I can mute myself. Okay. I've been trying to cough for...
You all right, hon?
Yeah.
Yeah, you picked up right where I needed you to. I had a little thing going on there too, so thank you for that. That was good timing.
MSP and CPD are liable for the negligent hiring, training, and supervision of these officers whose wrongful acts also contributed to the harm suffered by Miss Reed, specifically as described in the amended complaint in the federal court against Proctor, Buchanan, Brian Tully, and the House defendants that are specifically incorporated herein. MSP and CPD's employees' wrongful acts include but are not limited to. So see, that's why we should be following the federal case more strongly here. But they were propelled by the House defendants' false statements.
I mean, you're the boss. You told me the other day we're gonna have to pick it up, so we're gonna have to pick it up. Like I've just been like avoiding it because it was really because of all the drama shit that was going on. It just kind of soured me on it, like just with the community, but you're right. In terms of cases are important. It's like, it's really
right. But following this
exposing the
one might
corruption.
pretty much cover all the bases because they're going to have to include, the same allegations,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
so, okay, they were propelled by the House defendants' false statements, including that Mr. O'Keefe, quote, never went in the house. They failed to investigate any theory other than seeking to singularly focus on Miss Reed to the exclusion of all other available evidence. They ignored that Mr. O'Keefe's injuries were consistent with a physical altercation, a dog attack, and that no injuries were consistent with a vehicle strike. They intentionally sidestepped or wholly ignored fundamental investigatory procedures. They disregarded and failed to obtain pertinent interviews and other critical evidence from the House defendants that cannot now be recovered or recreated. Through Proctor, they secretly communicated with the Alberts on Proctor's personal phone, deliberately back-channeling those communications to circumvent his state-issued device, and used Proctor's sister as a surrogate. See, I think we've missed some stuff here. They manufactured things that might be in that federal complaint about.
See, I'm trying to figure out why, like DB had said, it was the first thing that I asked when you told me there was a complaint. I'm like, is it a 1983 claim? Like, I just thought for sure this would be a 1983 claim, but they filed in state court. So I don't.
You
I
can
don't
make a
know.
1983 claim in state court. I think what they
I haven't seen that it was.
the I think the counts are
But I haven't. Yeah, like this is first blush for us. I haven't read any of this until I heard Mel going through what she went through, and that was it. So
there's the right count 1 is negligence, count 2 is negligence, count 3 is civil conspiracy. So yeah, I guess there is no 1983 claim. I mean, she wasn't.
civil conspiracy, like
Yeah.
RICO.
Yeah, civil conspiracy when they plot together
Yeah,
to
it's
a
like
common design between them to,
it's like RICO.
right, civil RICO, yeah. Okay. And G, they manufactured evidence to ensure. Oh, wait, you were reading or I was reading? I think you were reading.
You were
I
reading.
was. Oh, they manufactured evidence to ensure that Miss Reed, not their friends and fellow law enforcement officers who blamed Mr. O'Keefe's was blamed for Mr. O'Keefe's death, including planting evidence at the scene on Mr. O'Keefe's clothes and on Miss Reed's vehicle to support the false narrative that Miss Reed struck Mr. O'Keefe with her vehicle, even though they knew Mr. O'Keefe's injuries were inconsistent with a motor vehicle strike and consistent with a physical altercation and dog attack. And they expressly encouraged flagrant abuses of power. Armed with the fruits of this fundamentally flawed and biased investigation, the Norfolk District Attorney's Office proceeded to prosecute Miss Reed for murder, resulting in 2 juries rejecting the Commonwealth's charge and Miss Reed losing her career, home, car, livelihood, and reputation. As Greg Connor, 25-year veteran prosecutor in that office who is now seeking the role as district attorney, recently said of the Commonwealth's murder charges, quote, "The reach exceeded the grasp," and quote, "I don't think there was another DA office in Massachusetts that wanted to prosecute Karen Reed." So I don't think we need to go through the counts because there's not additional facts. I just want to see if there's any. So here's how they say that they breached their duty. They said hiring and retaining Proctor. So there's retaining. Hiring and retaining Proctor when it either knew or should have known that he was unfit to serve as a trooper because of his virulent and deep-seated biases, failing to adequately train and supervise Proctor, Buchanan, and Tully, as described above, including but not limited to failing to adequately train and evaluate them in the following areas, the importance of which it knew or should have known: acting upon bigoted views, potential bias and conflicted investigations, proper investigatory procedure, including the proper scope and timing of an investigation, how to appropriately handle suspects and potential suspects, conducting appropriate witness interviews, securing evidence in crime scenes, establishing chains of custody, and communicating properly with witnesses, suspects, and third parties, and prohibitions on planting, manufacturing, tampering with, or manipulating evidence, perjury, and falsifying documents. I mean, they should have to train people not to do that. This is something that's wrong. Let me just break this down for you because it's very, very important. Do not plant evidence. Okay. All right. And you know what else? Don't tamper with it. Don't manipulate it. Don't manufacture it. And definitely don't commit perjury. And really, you should just avoid at all costs falsifying documents. Allowing Proctor to continue to investigate, even though he had a personal relationship with witnesses and potential suspects in the murder, and which led to unlawful and unfavorable treatment of potential suspects. Allowing Proctor to continue to investigate, even though he had exhibited an extreme and personal negative bias towards Karen Reed. Allowing Proctor, Buchanan, and Tully to continue to investigate, even though they had violated rules, policies, and procedures in all manners of the investigation. Allowing Proctor and Buchanan to plant, fabricate, and manipulate evidence, falsify documents, and commit perjury. Allowing and neglecting to stop Proctor's, Buchanan's, and Tully's failures to secure evidence and the crime scene, obtain evidence, timely and appropriately interviewed suspects, and investigate the Alberts, McCabe's, or Higgins. And by continuing to employ Proctor, Buchanan, and Tully MSP knew or should have known that each had engaged in misconduct during the performance of their employment, including but not limited to. Sorry. Now here's where we have, upon information and belief in prior investigations, Proctor, Buchanan, and Tully repeatedly failed to follow rules, regulations, policies, and procedures. And upon information and belief in prior investigations, Proctor, Buchanan, and Tully each have exhibited a pattern of misconduct, including misogynist conduct. So then they just talk again about all the things that how this harmed Karen Reed, lost her job, her home, had to endure the joy and go through those trials.
See, when I leave, Allie starts whipping through the complaint.
All right, you go.
All right, so count 2, negligence against the town of Canton through Canton PD. So so she's gonna repeats and realleges all the preceding paragraphs. CPD had a duty to exercise reasonable care to ensure. Oh no, you went up a little too fast. To ensure that its police officers and employees do not cause foreseeable harm to a foreseeable class of plaintiffs, including but not limited to members of the public with whom they interact in the course of their duties. That duty includes an obligation to establish and use hiring, training, supervising, and retention policies and procedures to prevent their officer employees from using their own prejudices to discriminate against subjects of criminal investigation, safeguard potential criminal evidence in the CPD's possession, and to hire, train, and supervise its officers such that they safeguarded such evidence. So specifically, when hiring police officer employees that interact with the public, the CPD had a duty to use reasonable care to hire individuals that would not endanger or cause harm to the public. You think? I mean, right? It's kind of the whole point.
Yes,
Right to the
exactly.
heart of it.
Exactly. And by the way, these are probably the exact same allegations that I skipped over because I went right to the specific ways they breached the duty of care. So,
all right. So when retaining police officers, employees that interact with the public, the CPD had a duty to exercise reasonable care to ensure that its employees would not endanger or cause harm to the public. CPD had the duty to adequately supervise its facilities in order to avoid harm to the public. So 79, the CPD breached its duties by, among other things, failing to properly hire, train, supervise, and retain Goode when it either knew or should have known that he was unfit to serve as a trooper because of his virulent and deep-seated biases. So failing to properly supervise and train Sergeant Michael Lank in his failure to inspect or secure 34 Fairview Road, secure the scene where Mr. O'Keefe's body was found, inspect the house defendants' bodies for evidence of a fight, or to search the house defendants' phones, all on the morning of January 29th, 2022. Failing to preserve, protect, and secure various surveillance video inside and outside the Sally Port, including, but not limited to setting the auto delete function on such videos to 30 days and not preserving these particular videos for a longer period of time. Attempting to obfuscate and hide from Miss Reed's criminal defense team surveillance video footage from inside the police station and outside in the parking lot on relevant days. Failing to supervise the relationship between Proctor and Kevin Albert, including permitting backdoor communications involving the O'Keefe investigation and other social activities during the investigation, including drinking and driving together on Cape Cod.
honestly, I don't know how they would have supervised that relationship, but
Providing Brian Higgins with access to CPD station without supervision, and once CPD knew Higgins used the CPD station in the middle of the night immediately following the house party on the night of Mr. O'Keefe's death, failing to investigate and report that fact to the MSP. Hiding the close relationship between CPD's Chief Ken Berkowitz and House Defendant Higgins, and failing to document the condition of and supervise Miss Reed's SUV once it entered the Sallyport garage at CPD. and allowed the undocumented destruction of the taillight. The CPD's failures caused harm to a foreseeable class of plaintiffs, namely Miss Reed. Specifically, among other things, the CPD's breaches proximately caused Miss Reed to lose her career, her home, her car, and her reputation. She lost her freedom of movement for years and was forced to endure 2 criminal trials before finally being acquitted of any crime relating to Mr. O'Keefe's death. This also caused severe emotional and physical damage to Miss Reed. So Miss Reed presented her claim in writing to CPD pursuant to MGL C 258 Section 4 on November 21st of 2025. CPD did not respond to Miss Reed's presentment within 6 months of that date, and as a result, CPD is deemed to have finally denied her claim pursuant to that same statute. So Miss Reed is entitled to damages for the CPD's negligence in an amount to be determined at trial.
So a civil conspiracy.
Oh,
jeez.
Oh boy. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Neither of us have any water. We both
I
rushed
can bring
to.
you some down. I had Cam run and get some.
Okay.
I'll water
I'd love
you up.
that.
I'll water you up.
Okay. So a civil conspiracy claim between the two police forces. I mean, let's see how it fleshes out, but I see that as like, might be difficult because you have to show that they were working together on a common design and scheme. And, so this might be a stretch as to the police forces, not as to all of the officers. So, and maybe I would be writing here MSP and or CPD, just in case. But so it says MSP and CPD had a common design with each other and with Proctor, Buchanan, Tully, and the occupants of 34 Fairview Road on the morning of January 29th, 2022, to unlawfully and improperly direct the investigation into the death of John O'Keefe III towards Miss Reed. MSP and CPD each acted negligently and otherwise tortiously and unlawfully, as alleged above and in the amended complaint, and incorporated here by reference, in furtherance of their and their co-conspirators' goals. At all relevant times, MSP and CPT, as police departments and agencies imbued with the legal authority, had a peculiar and established power of coercion over Reed, particularly, thank you, where working together in connection with the investigation into the death of John O'Keefe III. Stand by. Okay. Now, of course, stand by. I don't know what's going on today. Okay. At all relevant. Okay. Legal authority had a. Right. Got that. Okay. 89. Miss Reed presented her claim in writing. Okay. She said that. And they denied her claims. They didn't respond. As a result, she's entitled to damages. So, what's the rest of this? Oh. Wait. Oh, wait. Let me see this. Is that the only thing? Let's see if there's, well, I can see right here, actually. Page 54. How many pages are left? 38 plus 54. Well, it's not the whole thing. There'd be more pages. Let's see. I just want to see if there's any other exhibits attached. Damn it. No. I was getting excited. All right. So, and it is the same lawyers in the federal case, because there you've got the same two firms. Oh, so that's the whole thing. We did read the whole complaint. Yeah, the rest is exhibits.
Oh.
But what kind of sucks is, how did I know it was only 20? How did I get to the end before? Maybe I didn't go to the end of. Oh, I didn't. Okay. So this is, when I went to the end, I actually went to the end of the federal complaint. So it is the same firms, but there's also this Aaron Rosenberg.
Mm.
So
Alright.
I think I was just saying, I think this civil conspiracy counts a
Are there
little.
any juicy exhibits?
No, the
What?
exhibit 1 says audio files attached to the USB drive. That's it.
Oh, what? So
Yeah.
what the heck is the other
It's the
80?
federal complaint.
Oh. Dang, I thought we had 87 pages of glory to read.
That's what I got so excited. I was like, no, I thought there was like exhibits, and I'm like, holy shit. But
Well,
they did incorporate 28 through 108. And looking through it, what?
oh my God. Aaron
What?
Spencer's case was dismissed.
Shut up.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Well, it's a perfect time to end this live and start a new live.
Oh
Wait,
my
dismissed with
God.
prejudice?
I don't know. I haven't seen it. Heather just texted me.
You have the order?
I don't know.
Can he speak on it? Oh my gosh. This is the most exciting thing that has ever happened. Oh
That's
my goodness.
incredible.
All right, you've got to create a new live, babe. Just create it, and then I'll upload a thingy and make it for, and I'll go through the chats now. Oh, that is just so wonderful for their family. I can't
Oh my
believe
God.
it.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Well, tweet it out and tell the world we're going to go live.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's incredible.
That's
All right.
amazing.
So I'm away. Oh my God. Well,
Wow, you were right.
I called it.
You called it. I just said it. I literally just said
Oh
it.
yeah. I called it.
I was like still just, saying, are we being too naive to think it? Because you've seen it so many times where it should happen and it doesn't.
Oh my God. That's
For
incredible.
those of you that do not know this case, Aaron Spencer, then either hang around and you get transported or just pay attention because we're about to go live on that. And I don't know what we do about
All right. Well, thank all the
I'm
supers.
doing
I'll
it. I'm
create this.
doing it. I'm doing it.
But
So I
don't
don't
end it because
I'm not, babe. I got it.
well, I was gonna say I'm gonna portal everybody.
That's what I thought we were doing. But what I was going to say is I don't know what we do about, and I was looking for some of the posts that were like a super that was like, this is for boots on the ground in in Arkansas. Wow, we're gonna have a big free window of time.
Wow.
We've got to aren't your supers are stuck here. Those that were for boots on the ground in Arkansas.
Yeah. Sorry.
All right, I don't know if you put this one up, but at for dread says there needs to be more verification thresholds and transparency of evidence that is admissible in court or lack thereof, like how you expect the public to believe an SD card in Aaron Spencer's case vanished. Thank you at for dread. And apparently there's a judge in the world who agrees. Judge Erskine, and I forget this judge's name. So, yes. And Boris says the hate for Karen and Aiden is stronger than logic. It really is. It really is, especially for people who are not the like house defendants or the family, because like the family's convinced it was Karen. Okay. So they look at all of this as them lying. But the rest of the public, it makes zero sense because their writing is on the wall that there is something worth looking at, and it's like you see stuff like this and you think, do you want to rethink your stance in Richard Allen? Do you see how police officers are just human beings and can be just as disgusting and repugnant as as the next person? So yeah, good point, Boris. And thank you for your continued support for 13 months. And Spitfire, member for 26 months. We must be actively anti-racist to defeat racism. Yeah, but I don't even know if that works. But yeah, absolutely. If there's an anti-racism thing, I'm up for it. I mean, it's Scorpio says, can they get Proctor's sister? She was the go-between. I think so. This to me opens the door for discovery into her text messages. I absolutely would anticipate that. I mean, unless they've done it in the federal case already. If anybody knows, stick it out there. Although I'm not looking at the regular chat right now. I'm over here looking at the supers. Real tea with Krista Marie. Gosh, I need my cheaters. It's 2026. We solved these issues decades ago. This has to be the last of this false hate, unwarranted racism. Works stage is being exposed, old system out, and we can rebuild. Right, unwarranted racism, works stage needs to, right. The old system has to go out, and we have to rebuild. We have to start over. I absolutely agree. Catherine Thoreau, I think, for the demonetization fund. Defund the police is what she's talking about. Who wants to be a fly on the wall when AJ deposes Proctor? And that's Mary Swappy. Thanks for your generosity. Yeah, we all do. And I mean, hopefully they get out. I mean, when you file motions for summary judgment, they are going to put in, you saw everything they put in this complaint. They're going to put it in there. This is part of what Karen, I'm sure, wants to do, is not only get a remedy for herself, to get some form of justice for herself, to have them have some consequences for what they did in her case, is to expose this to the public. And it's gonna be, you already see it in King. This is a huge deal for people who have been prosecuted by these officers. Canton, the further it goes, the more it needs to get looked at. And we've talked about it a billion times. When you have a civil case, she's also defending a civil case. The extent of discovery just at your fingertips is a lot. So Don Burke, member for 28 months. Thank you for your continued support. Oh, gee, this case is crazy land. Yep. Mary Holt, member for 12 months. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. I don't know. I love the DD family, and we love you. Nick, our good friend Nick, as if any of them could come close to a Brazilian beauty. Yeah, right? Tell him, Nick. Very true. Like, James says, oh, he became a YouTube member. Well, welcome. Family hug. Bailey B, member for 8 months. Thanks for your continued support. Waiting for 2020 Proctor interview part 2. Yeah, right. Yeah, let's shift gears. We're gonna tilt this interview on its head a little bit here. We got Kaylee or Kayleek, a new member. Also, Nana Banana, a new member. Welcome, both of you. Family hugs. CU Buff's mom says Good went on leave in November. Yes, I thank you for that. And we appreciate your continued generosity. Crime Trial Addict says, my jaw is on the floor. I knew it was bad, but not this bad. Thanks for the live. I'm a lurker at work. Well, I hope if you come back later, we're saying hi, lurker from work. Appreciate you. Yeah, cheaters. Jadzia, I think. Jadzia. Ooh, member for 15 months. Thanks for your continued support. Thanks for going over this. It's so much worse than I suspected, but I'm not surprised, let alone shocked. Probably the tip of the iceberg. Family hugs to all listening to these depraved texts. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like, hold on. You know, Bob keeps saying like this is what he expected. I'm still shocked. I guess the way you say it is the best. My it's so much worse than I suspected, even though I'm not surprised or shocked, but I'm still shocked, even though I'm not shocked. It's just so reprehensible, so insanely reprehensible. So, Ann Piccolo, thanks for your support. Have you listened to the IA, that's Internal Affairs, interview of Tully, Major Copperrath, CP Collins, and Fanning? The trial files, YouTube has them. What? I would love to watch that. I mean, was it? I can't be looking at the chat and reading this. I was going to say, let me know if there's something juicy in there. But I mean, either way, that's something. That's the thing. We'll have to look into that. I'm really loving this trial files YouTube. You guys should all go over and subscribe to them because I think Bob reached out about us using stuff from them as well. And I think they've got no issues with people doing that, but they're doing great work. So Amanda, thank you. At Emily C's in the chat. Hey, Emily, if you're still here, love me some Emily. Yes. And she is really, really great. She's clutch when it comes to holding a stream together. I'll tell you that much. Very smart, very fun, very sweet, beautiful inside and out. We love us some Emily C. Mary Swampy, new member. Oh, family hug. And lastly, we've got Erica in Dallas says, after reading these quotes, this proves more than ever that diabolical Canton cabal fabricated their fears of Aiden. The days of them claiming to be scared and hurt by Aiden's words are over. I mean, you would hope so. You would hope so. I mean, it's just like outrageous. All of it's outrageous. All of it's outrageous. And you know, we're big on free speech, including Aiden's right to free speech. So, wow. Thanks, D Nice. I'm sure Bob's reading it. So we are creating a new stream wherever Bob is back there to transfer you to an Aaron Spencer stream. And I mean, I don't know why we're talking. Somebody put a post about the audio files. I still don't know why. Like I said earlier, like they don't know. You could have posted a link to those. You could have put them right in with a link that clicks through the document. But Mathis says these new texts remind me of Creed from The Office. What if you've been bad? What if you've been really bad? Really bad? More evil? And strictly wrong? Yeah, Creed. It's true. It's true, and I appreciate your support. I love The Office. It's something I can watch reruns of like forever on repeat. I don't know where Bob is. I don't know how long he wants me to. Yes, we are going to cover Aaron Spencer. We are going to cover. I just have to now just make a banner. Okay. I'm just going to make a banner and it's going to say, not that. Create new banner. Oh. Aaron Spencer live upcoming. You will be transported. That's what I'm writing. I can't see. Trap-sported. Trap-sported. You're going to be trap-sported, people. I don't want it to scroll, so that should be good. No, wait. I hit the stupid time thing. God darn it. Timer off. Okay. Oh, no, timer's still on. My lord. Oh, here we go. Timer off. I had to hit it up here. All right. Now show. I don't know what Bob's doing, but
Babe, I'm creating the live. I had to update the thumb. I'm doing all the things.
okay. I said I'll change the thumbnail after it's up.
No, it's done. It'll be done in 2 seconds.
So we're not gonna break. We're just gonna stay right here.
No, I'm creating a new live. Just keep this going, and then
Right, but I'm asking you, is there gonna be like 10 minutes before we start that live?
Do you want 10 minutes?
I don't know. Have you
up to
eaten
you.
anything today?
Oh, I haven't eaten anything. Like
You want to look at it? I thought maybe we could call people, see if anybody can come on, a lawyer or this or that.
All right. I'll set it for 3:45. That's what I'll set it for.
Okay.
All right.
We're about to be setting it, people. We're trying to pull some stuff together before we just
tell people that might not know about Aaron Spencer's case. We've been trying to pull all the Reed folks over. There's still, I'm sure, plenty of people that are not aware of it.
I'm gonna start telling you guys.
By the way, my last statement on this is that MSP in Canton might as well just bust open the checkbooks and write big fat checks, which y'all are paying for. All you Canton and Massachusetts residents, those taxpayer dollars are going to go to pay Karen for all the wrongs that have been committed against her. So once again, look into who you're voting for. It matters. It matters.
All right, so he's finishing that up so we can transport you. But I'm going to tell you guys about the Aaron Spencer case. But I am sort of interested to know, if you're still here and you don't know about this case, write no or write something to that effect. But Aaron Spencer is a father, a former veteran, and now is going to be, was already chosen in the primary to be the new sheriff, but his 13-year-old daughter was essayed by a disgusting, despicable human being who had 43 charges against him. Okay. 43 or 40 something. I don't know, 43, whatever it is, against him for abuse to Aaron Spencer's daughter. Okay. He's out on bond, $5,000 bond, supposed to be having no contact with children. He continues to have contact with Aaron Spencer's daughter. And on the night, okay, Aaron Spencer and his wife are woken up by the dog barking. They get up. They're trying to figure out what's going on. Very unusual for this dog to be barking. I wonder if it is with prejudice, but I would assume so. But we got to double check. So anyway, their daughter is gone. She's not there. They don't know where she went. They decide to call 911. Wife calls 911, and dad's going to get in his car and go looking for their daughter. While he's looking for his daughter, he sees her in this disgusting, despicable monster's vehicle. He has her in his vehicle in the middle of the night. He gets behind him. He tries to get him to stop. He's honking his horn. He's flashing his light. The guy drives past the house, still racing towards an intersection. Dad's still honking and flashing his lights. He's close to when I meant intersection, I mean like a freeway or whatever, be able to just get out and leave with the only witness of all of his crimes for which he has been indicted and charges are pending. And he does this maneuver to maneuver the car off of the road. Okay. So, and you guys, I didn't see if there were actually any no's, which I'm kind of interested, but I'm going to keep going anyway. Yes, he's 67 years old. That's this perpetrator is 67 years old. He maneuvers it safely off of the road. He knows like a pit trick, or it's from his military. I forget, but he forces it off the road. His daughter still doesn't get out of the car. The pervert gets out of the car with something in his hand, screaming aggressively and coming towards Aaron Spencer, who unloads his weapon and kills the guy. I mean, we've been saying kills all day anyway. And what does the state do? They charge this hero father with first-degree murder. That's originally first-degree murder. Later, it gets amended to second-degree murder. Somehow claiming that the daughter and this man were in a relationship, and he should have called the cops, and he shouldn't have shot the guy when he gets out of his car with something in his hand and he's coming aggressively to you, or could have shot your daughter. And he's in the middle. The daughter when the daughter's interviewed by the police, she tells them she is still sore. She is sore and in pain from the man assaulting her that very night. Now, perverts like this one that pick up and do whatever else to children in their vehicles, I guess, like to have cameras. This man had a dashboard cam that recorded outside the back and also inside the car. So everything that happened should have been on this dashboard cam video. The daughter, when she's being interviewed after the shooting, says that this perpetrator, this pervert, was watching the screen for the rear view camera while this was all going on, keeping an eye out for her father. So they know it's working and they know it's recording, yet somehow they take it out, they turn off their dashboard, they turn off their body cam. Okay, hey guys, everybody's got to turn off their body cam right now, and then they start, looking in the vehicle, and eventually they take out the dashboard cam. Doesn't go in a police report. No one writes anything up about it. Doesn't get logged, and 14 months later, it comes out that they lost it. It disappeared. Sorry, oops, we lost it. But guess what? One of the cops, I looked at it. I know I didn't write a report about looking at it, but I looked at it before we lost it, and there was nothing on it. Nothing. It had like 5 videos. They were each 20 minutes long or whatever he said, something like that. And I watched, some of it, and it's all just flashing police lights in the tree line. Nothing was captured. Nothing is on it. Nothing to see here. I know we lost it, but trust me, bro, there was nothing on it. Again, he doesn't make a police report about watching it. Doesn't tell anybody I watched it. There was nothing on it. There's nothing about it. And then the defense gets an expert who says that's not even right. This product doesn't make that 20-minute long videos or whatever it was. It can make, and I'm going to say 2, 3, and 5. I think that might be right. I think it might be 1, 2, 3, and 5. That's the full extent of the minutes, how many long minutes the videos could have been. What the cop described when don't worry, I know I lost it, but I watched it and there's nothing on it, as being on those discs, could not have been on those discs. Okay. So, I mean, I don't know if I'm doing all of this even the justice that it needs, but was anyone paying attention? Did we have actually some people in here that didn't know about this case before this? I'm trying to look back through the chat. Yes. Just please free Jamie Snow. Because I mean, this is
all right. We're good to go, babe. It's all set up. We did get some Venmos over here that I want to shout out real quick. Let's see. Elizabeth, Curious Liz said, my $10 Venmo, my contribution in case the stream gets demonetized. Thank you very, very much. Caitlin H paid us 20. Completely outrageous and terrifying. These MFers better get what's coming to them. Money for your Spencer endeavors. Oops.
No refunds.
No refunds. Kim, our daily angel, sent us 25. Thank you, Kim, as always. We love you. Ain't So Plain Jane, travel fund. She sent 25.
Sorry.
And then Tia.
Maybe we should plan to go out like we were going to do and do a live, interview the family. I don't know. Maybe we can do something.
Yeah, I mean, the hope is obviously I'm gonna text Aaron Casanello.
Is it with prejudice? Do you know if it's with
I
prejudice?
don't know yet. I don't know
You
yet.
haven't seen the order?
I haven't looked at it. I've been doing other things.
You'll find out when we find out.
You'll find out, right? It'll be contemporaneous to when we're reading it. All
You better
right.
change
Well,
that time because I want 15 minutes, I think.
all right.
Wait,
Wanna
I
do
can
the
change
first
it while
one?
you
I
read
wanna-
the messages and I'll change it.
That's it. I'm done.
Oh,
That's all the
so
Venmos.
are you changing it then?
I can change it. What time do you want me to
Or I
change
can do
to?
it. To 3:55?
That's
I don't know
weird.
how much time you
I'll
need.
just do 4.
Okay.
Let's do 4, 20 minutes.
And we're gonna
Well,
try to score some guests if
Yeah,
possible. We have to
see
see
we
how
could
this
do.
thing ended, but we should be able to get something together,
Okay.
hopefully.
All right.
Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, copy that link, share it on all your social media. Join us for the reading of the dismissal order on Aaron Spencer.
Yes. Yes. All right. So that's it. All right.
Maybe we should go sooner. I don't want someone else to go and like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
You're trying to like, so you want me to go in and change it again?
yeah. When do you want to make it 5? I need you to make those phone calls and try to get.
I'm texting Heather. Like, I'm sure they're celebrating.
Yeah.
So you know, like I text Aaron and Heather. I'm getting ready to text Casanelli to see what she's doing. I'm sure she's celebrating as
Should
well.
we just start it right now so that?
What?
Oh,
No.
we'll keep it at 3:45.
Okay. I already hold on. I gotta edit it again. Okay. All right. 3:45. All right. Okay. It's back to 3:45. So in 4 minutes. All right, y'all. For our Karen Reed lovers and supporters, thank you so much for coming and hanging with us today. Big day. Big day for justice in America. Big day for outing shitty, filthy, disgusting, pig-like cops that have no business with guns and badges. So I'm thinking the checks should get written, big fat giant checks. Just rip them right. There's
But they've known about this for a year.
There's no defending it. That's what I'm saying. There's no defending it. You're paying. You're
All right.
paying. All right.
Say your
All right,
thing.
you guys. You guys are amazing. We love you so much, mods. We adore you, obviously. And to all of you, we love you so much because without you, I would just be an old man
Sitting around talking to his wife.
talking about Aaron Spencer in 3 minutes. Bye.